So for example, if I have been heartbroken and I hate a man, but I'm also a feminist, I can conflate those two issues and it becomes an issue that then the language is lost. But feminism is about women's empowerment. Yes, there are the layers of the relationships aspects and all other aspects to it, but they should not take away the message of women's empowerment, because that's what it's about. It's about living in a world where we have access to resources, both of us. You and I can sit here. It's because of feminism, because I'm living in a world where I'm now seen as a human being. Before it wasn't that. So feminism has fought for that. The fact that I can even speak into a mic and people listen to me is a privilege that has been fought for by feminism. Yeah, so to take the foundation global, like I said, we want to mobilize funds into Malawi. So that's the big dream right now. On a personal level, I want to be as big as Oprah. I want to be the Oprah of digital media.
Another one of those. Another day, another dollar. Speaking about dollars today. Literal dollar in the building. Bridget, are you good? Do a little mic check for Malawi. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
You good?
I might. Hey, Mwiza.
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm good.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
He's sick.
Ndo mabwera anje kunjira zem.
Leon, I said Leon.
Leon. What Leon akubwera kapena sabwera?
Akubwera.
Okay. Alimbasa yoga usalima. So like it's actually it's amazing because we have two people driving in to Lilongwe. You know? One from the lake all the way from Mangoji, and the other one from the lake as well. Oh. Of course the other one is not driving, he's coming from Salima.
Nice.
Yo, a blessing. I don't know where to start from, but I'm very excited. I don't know if you can see it. My face kwangago. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I'm very excited because today is another beautiful day. I'll say this again. Beauty, emphasis. And also another dollar, emphasis. In the building with me today is the beautiful, the brave, and the intimidating. If you go on our Twitter, Ntha Manduwi, can you give her a pep? No, it's not audible, bro. Thank you. Well, this is the only podcast that has the pep.
Okay, I see it.
It's the only one. Mm-hmm. You can go anywhere, but you won't get the pep. But Malawi, are you ready? Because today in the building, Miss Ntha Manduwi.
Hi.
I say you're many things. You're a feminist.
Oh.
Are you not?
I am. No, I mean, that's the first one. I love it.
You too?
Oh, dude.
Yeah. You're everything. And the good thing I like about you is that you're very open about everything as well. But I'm not sure. Are you really open about everything?
Am I? Good question.
Yeah, because now I'm in a script. This is me.
Good question. I would like to think I'm open. I'd like to think I'm open to an extent. Obviously, I'm a businesswoman, so I don't share everything.
Yeah.
But I think I've been a blogger for more than 10 years. I have known what it means to share content online for a very long time. So it almost comes naturally to me. So I've almost mastered the art of knowing that if I post this is the kind of reaction that I would get from people. So I do think about it. Like when I'm posting things, I'm not just posting everything, but there are certain things which I'm like, okay, I know this is fine for my brand. Now that I have a business, I know that it does not affect my business in any kind of way. So I try to live a very honest life, I feel like, and I try to share as much of that as possible. Yeah.
That's beautiful. A beautiful answer. Well articulated. Komaso Malawi, I'm talking to somebody that's staying in the US for now. And I don't know, don't mind my accent. So yeah, man. Welcome to the show. Very honored to have you today. And girl power. You know what I'm saying? How's life, man?
Life is good. I can't complain, to be honest. Yeah. The past few years of my life have been amazing.
Happy girl era.
I am in my soft girl era for sure.
Amazing. So as I was saying, you're always like the open book. Yeah, I'm doing this. We're launching this. We are opening this. We was there. We were having drinks. TV. All over there. We know.
Yeah.
But who is the Ntha that we don't know? Gabina point minute usana yambe ubanga kukhala open. Koma no you'd want to share. Kuda anthu akamana kuti Nthanda asanga kuti akachike naye kama nkula zopoera pa Twitter kama riboa. But then they have to know who is Nthanda from the beginning.
Very good question. I'd like to think Nthanda is a simple girl. I'm just myself. I've always been that way. So I've always been my realest self, and I think people who have loved me have told me that I'm the most authentic person that they know. I've always been myself.
Yeah.
By being myself, obviously, that rubs some people the wrong way. Sometimes that makes people love me. I think Q says I'm like Marmite. To be like Marmite is like people either love you or hate you.
Oof.
Yeah.
Marmite.
And that's always...
Google that, Google.
Marmite, yeah. Yeah, but I've always been my real self. And obviously that's always... Well, I always say people who are real themselves take kindly to me. And those who have their own demons that they're battling are then bothered by me. Yeah. But I've always been my real self. Who I've always been... I don't know how to describe myself. Like the things that I like. I grew up in Mangoji. I think we all know that because I'm always talking about it. So I grew up in Mangoji at the lake. My mom was a ship captain. My dad is a marine engineer. My dad worked for Mandeko Fisheries. My mom worked for she was the first female ship captain of the Ntendere and Dilalas and all of them.
Yeah.
So that's where I grew up. That's what made me. But growing up, I think they gave me space to be my authentic self. They gave me space to be who I am. So yes, obviously they shouted at me here and there if I made some mistakes, but they never told me what I can or cannot be. They just guided. They didn't box me. So I feel like I just went about life just being myself. And if I said I wanted to do something, obviously they would guide. I mean, like the hardest one with my dad was telling him that I want to do Miss Malawi. For that wasn't the dream that he had for me. And he's like, but if it's what you want, then go for it and we'll support you as a family. To an extent, because for him, he was like, I want you to be a professional. I want you to do your work and everything. Like, I'm a beauty pageant is not really, what I want for you. But he was like, if you want to do it, then go for it. But I wanted to be a media person. So I'm like, the easiest way to be a media personality is a beauty pageant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so growing up in Malawi, girl child, what are the challenges that you've seen? Even if and it's sad. It's
still happening up until now.
So experience as a girl child, you've been out of the country.
And all of that. For me, in my personal experience, actually, what you spoke about me being a feminist, I am a feminist, by the way. Very proud of it. I'm a women's empowerment enthusiast, a trained gender researcher. I have 2 degrees in gender research. So it's a space that I'm very passionate about. Like I was just doing a research actually on gender in Malawi this past year for Malawi, so which was really exciting. So growing up, I grew up around a mother who was very empowered. She was the first female ship captain, literally the boss at her work. She was the principal of the Marine College of Malawi. I don't even think many people know that exists. So I grew up around a woman who was just everything. Like going everywhere, it was like, oh, manawaloni, type of thing. Let's a steamer and all that. So I grew up with the perception that women can be everything, because she was. And she was a boss in her work. She was everything that she was. And growing up, it was trying to live up to that, So I grew up in a space where as kids, like my favorite hobbies or let me say chores in the house was gardening. And I used to love washing the car. Wow. Which normally is in Mwiza, right? But for me as a girl, those were the things that I loved. And she gave us space. There was no, because you're a girl, you have to do this. Because you're a boy in Pangays. We all did the chores. So my cousins cooked. I did the cars. We did everything. I learned how to cook. So Timango Banga, I grew up as just a human being.
Not
exactly. I didn't think of that. So being hit by that reality was leaving my home and then going out there and I'm like, oh, the world views me as a woman. Girl, that was the first time outside of, because even my dad was like, okay, number 1. If you're not number 1, I'm going to better AC. you know, like Tuesday, why you should go back to school right now. So I grew up with that, just you're a human being, you're supposed to be good, you know. So going into the world, I'm like, oh, girls are raised goody, they have to be wives and they have to do this kind of chores, and when you interact with some girls, you see how that breaks them, you know. And that's why my feminism begins, because I know for me, I just grew up as a human being, and I'm like, to see other girls see themselves in a lens that they see men as different and as women as different, and to see also the other side where men view women as different. I'm like, we're just human beings. Yes, of course we have different genders, that's very standard. Komano, the reality is we're just human beings and we should have access to resources and live a life. So for me, like, there's so many challenges, and it's not just Malawi. Even when you go to other countries, even in the US, they're not, I mean, we're sold this dream that the West is very westernized and it's all very developed, but it's still there's still so much work to be done. Women are still viewed as through that lens, as, you know, as a woman, you should do this. I mean, I know you were just interviewing Tabitha. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, yeah?
Like, to see women just go about life just as a human being, you know, without thinking about that I'm a woman first, you know? Because men, you don't go around life thinking I'm a man first.
Bro.
You're just
No, we do though.
Is that the first thing you think about, though?
Yeah. Like, wait. I get on the counter. I want to get me a breezer. But like, yo, I'm a man. Give me a brandy, please.
You see?
Give me a brandy, please.
Men are also suffering.
We are.
Instead of drinking a marula, you'd be like, okay, fine, I'll just have strong brandy.
It's milk.
It's milk.
It's milk. I didn't eat, so it's milk.
Yeah, coffee. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Interesting enough, you spoke about being a feminist. It's very interesting, more especially good concept ya feminism. It's twisted. Chibenyi manduwa wambili, abanga so twist wambili. I mean, abanga claim good thing about feminist. So you as a professional who was trained, you know, in this gender thing, what's the message to your fellow feminists? Because I mean, we are dogs, yes, we know, but we need to be loved, we need to be painted, you know, we are cute dogs. Yes.
You are doing injustice to this.
Your dogs are for me. You're not.
We are. We're supposed to be regarded as mapit buzaji. Love us.
Okay.
And we are going to protect you and everything. But the whole idea of feminism being a tool of hate, you know?
Yeah.
Where does this problem come from? Is it because people were not trained to be feminists? What's wrong exactly?
Like, if we could speak all day, trust me. But it's a multi-layered subject, let's say. The anger of the feminists, first of all, is valid. They are it comes from a right place. The gender war shouldn't be there. You know, for me, what I advocate for is a world where men and women can coexist. Like I said, I grew up in a household where I did not even, the gender chat wasn't there. And for me, an ideal world would be a world where we just live like that. It's not a men versus women. I mean, people will be like, oh, you hate men, or I grew up with he's the best father in the world. So I grew up around the best man that I know. I grew up with brothers and cousins that I love throughout my life. I have spent most of my life mostly in love and loved by men, you know? And I want a world where we can exist like that, you know, we coexist, where women have their human rights, because that's what feminism, I heard the word feminism first 2015, 2016, when I was doing my first gender research. And just by hearing it, like, feminist, somebody who advocates women's empowerment, I was like, of course, I am a feminist, like, at the basis of it, just the definition of it. I think as human beings, it's in our nature to bring in our experiences. So, for example, if I have been heartbroken and I hate a man, but I'm also a feminist, I can conflate those two issues and it becomes an issue that then the language is lost. But feminism is about women's empowerment. Yes, there are the layers of the relationships aspects and all other aspects to it, but they should not take away the message of women's empowerment, because that's what it's about. It's about living in a world where we have access to resources, both of us. You and I can sit here. It's because of feminism, because I'm living in a world where I'm now seen as a human being. Before it wasn't that. So feminism has fought for that. The fact that I can even speak into a mic and people listen to me is a privilege that has been fought for by feminism. We should not make it about, because we're so about relationships and love. And I mean, that is great. Don't get me wrong. I live for it. But I feel like that makes the actual language get lost.
Do you though?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay. Well, another, like, it's interesting. Feminism. I would be a feminist. Also, do you know Bangalore? I'm a feminist. But just because I accept people. You're saying I should just treat you as a human being first.
Yeah.
Before we go into the technicalities, whatever, before I start crushing on you or whatever. You are a human being. If you're working, I'm working with somebody who is going to get the job done.
Precisely. That's it. That's it.
Come on the air. Hey, right. And so you said 2015.
Before she goes far, her friend is Bensam, the top G.
Yeah.
Why is he not here? Why is he not here? That's one of my best friends.
The top G. Do you know his philosophical ideas around women?
I don't. What are his philosophies?
Do you follow Andrew Tate?
I do.
Yeah.
Does he believe Andrew Tate?
He's
I wouldn't be surprised.
He even gets the name.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Tate is a top G.
Top G.
And Bensam is a top G as well.
But he's such Andrew Tate is such an insecure man.
Okay. Break it down for us.
Yes, please.
I think confident people don't have to go around saying I'm confident, Like if you have to speak so much about your confidence and as a man, I'm this, and I don't take that serious. I'm sorry, I don't respect you. Like there's so many men that I know that they walk into a room and they just command. They don't need to explain to me that they're a man. If you have to come to me and explain to me that as a man, I'm like, there's something that you're compensating penapaki.
Oh, and then it's supposed to talk about as a beautiful lady.
Exactly. As a gorgeous woman,
Okay. Thank you. That's armor for me, bro.
Like anything that you have to over-explain, I think is not natural to you. It's something you're trying to be, So when you live in a world, now we're speaking the other side of feminism, or what is the men's side. I find that men who are confident and, they know themselves, they're confident in who they are, they don't have to go around and explain, hey, me as a man, hey, me. That's coming from insecurity. I come from a father who is he's the most powerful man I know. Like he commands the room. Like for me, I was in a car accident last week and everything was just handled by him because I just called daddy and I know that everything is going to be handled because he's that man. He's the man,
You were in a car crash.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I didn't talk about it. Nobody knows except my dad.
Talk to us.
No, I don't want to talk about
it. It's a safe space, yeah.
I was coming from an event and I was overwhelmed. I had a very long week. Also, there was a lot of people and I met too many people and everything. So I just zoned out and I crashed into a wall.
One too many?
I wasn't drinking. I wish I was.
Yeah, only if you drink alcohol, you avoid these things.
So you have to drink it.
Yes.
Then you avoid. I was too sober, apparently.
Yes.
That's the story.
I remember someone was in. A lot of accident because you're drunk. No. When you're drunk, you're cautious. Like, yo, I'm drunk and I have to get home. I have to get home. Like for real. But when you're sober, you're like, I'm good. I'm good. You can easily zone out. I'm good. Whoa.
And I think it just got in my head. I zoned out. And when I looked up, I was in a wall.
You're fine, right?
I'm fine. Just my arm is messing up, but it's fine.
You crashed the Z?
No, not the Z4. The Z4 is fine. The Z4 is fine.
All right.
The other car is also being treated, so it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I spoke that your dad came through.
Yeah.
And that's where you saw most like manhood being...
Yeah, and I tweeted about that.
Like a story around it, right? Like, I think the question around Brandon's idea of how feminism is seen as a war, like a gender war, is the one that makes it a war that we see today.
Yeah.
But you, a feminist in your definition, recognizing the role of a man is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
How do you think we could identify the strength and make sure that the responsibilities of men, the responsibilities of women are properly seen and that we are working together?
Yeah.
What would be a better model?
I think actually I tweeted about that and I say that my father being the head of our house is not something that it was just because he's the man. He had to earn that right, in our family. He's the one person who every time I know my master crashes cars. My master, but God loves me. 3, yes. But every time I call my dad, I know he's going to show up. So, you know, there's a responsibility that he has absorbed over our family that my mother passed away last year. You know, he took care of her all through and through up until the end. Yeah. So that responsibility was always there in him. I don't think it's a gender thing because it's so many layers to it. Like he is the man of our family and he was that. My mother was the matriarch of our family and she also had her responsibilities as a woman and she took care of our family in her own way. Yeah. I'm the firstborn in my family. I also have my responsibilities as a firstborn, even though I have a brother, but there is a responsibility that I have that my brother doesn't have. So I think if we live in a world where we just respect each other and we're able to see that, you know, like for me, I literally when I'm dating somebody, I'm a princess because if I have a man, he's my man. Like he has to do stuff for me, and you know, like when I'm dating,
interesting.
I'm not coming into a relationship where like even little things like people will be like, oh, as a feminist, this. I'm like, no, for me, I just want a man who respects me as a human being, and I respect him as a human being. We do things together, like I'll cook, you cook, I clean, you clean. But there's little things like which is more romantic, like opening a car door for me. I expect my man to open, but that's a preference also. Some women might say which is fine if it's a choice. We should live in a world where we have that choice. And I think when you go to the lines of love, you just have to find the one that sees the world the way that you do. So if I find a man and the man says, I don't open car doors for women, I say, yeah, good for you. This you know, because for me, I have a different preference.
Okay, so Ntha, you're a professional, you know. I've known you as Muntu Panga, host my event, you know, public speaker, Janchani, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 16 after uni? Your journey.
My journey.
Yes.
Okay. 2016, I graduated. I left university. 2017, January is when I moved to Lilongwe. I remember writing to my dad in 2016. I said, Nugumaliza University. I don't want to be employed. That was the first thing. I want to chase my creative dreams. And from what I understand, the creative sector is in Lilongwe. So I want to move to Lilongwe.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, okay. And I was already doing business at the time. I was running a hair salon. So I was like, you know, I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do a hair salon, I'll do a spa, then I'll figure it out from there. Yeah, so I found a place. I found a nice apartment. I had a roommate. So I moved here. I moved here. I got a small job as a marketing officer for some startup. Yeah. So I started that as a job and I didn't like it. It was a startup as well, but a very small startup. So I was like, I don't like the job, and I left it eventually because they were also figuring out what they were doing. Yeah. So I left it and I told my dad, I'm like, I want to work in the development sector. You know, because I did a lot of research in gender. So I was like, I would love to work in a space where I'm able to practice what I learned. So I want to go into that. I told my friend about it, and there was a conference that was being held. So there was a conference and he invited me. He's like, this is the type of space you want to be in. Come through. So I went to the conference, and during the conference, people were speaking. So they were talking about youth engagement. And they were like, oh, when we engage youth, they're not willing to do the jobs. We get them in staff and they're not doing the jobs. And I took the mic and I commented back. I said, the youth that want to do stuff are here. We apply for jobs, but because of how the job market is set up, maybe there's 1,000 applications. So we don't even get the chance to get into the spaces. So after that networking, I ended up meeting somebody who offered me an internship on the spot, which was pretty amazing. So that was my first internship.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a good internship. And then after that, I went on to the Malawi government, also had another internship. Then after that, I was like, what do I want to do? So I started my own TV show, or learning at least, the My Malawi show, which was my first show, production, everything from start to finish. After that show, then I had applied for the Malawi Revenue Authority. MRA was hiring. So by training, I'm a demographer and economist. So in both fields, I've done gender research. So they were hiring, and they went to people with background in economics. I qualified and I applied for it. So did several interviews, and I think around July of 2018 should have been, I was hired to start at MRA. So how far do you want me to go with this journey? This is the beginning.
Yeah, I actually like where we are right now.
Okay.
Let me ask you questions. You spoke of development sector. So I understand your first internship was UN Women. Then you went to Ministry of Gender.
Correct.
And then MRA.
MRA.
What the fuck?
If you see UN Women, Minister of Gender, was this feminism element in her influenced by these 2 internships, or was it
you already?
So I was always a gender enthusiast. So at undergrad, both my dissertations were about gender. So I did gender research at undergrad. So it made sense for me to work in the gender space. So that's when I've always been like, okay, the same thing I'm saying, Kuti, when I walked into the world, suddenly I was viewed as a woman. It was new to me.
Yeah.
So then like, oh, as a woman, you're this, as the words, you're intimidating. And I'm like, okay, I've always and it's never been a thing. So like it was a new space for me. So that's when I started advocating for gender. So when I was doing my research, I started thinking around, okay, what more can we do around gender? So that's when I did my research. After doing my research, then when I was working, I was like, yes, I love marketing and I love media and everything, but I also want to practice what I actually studied. So UN Women made sense. And also Ministry of Gender made sense for me to start.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So,
these 2 made sense. It was a good party. After that,
like,
you were supposed to go to Ntha Foundation.
Yeah, maybe.
But you went to MRA. Was it the money?
You know what? I really want to know where the money is at MRA, to be honest. Because I was there.
Everybody at MRA flipping says that, and it's a lie.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that work with the MRA.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, grab a door.
Hey.
Every day these people are going, and every day these people are driving flashy cars, bro.
So you're like, what's happening?
What's happening?
Tell us the truth.
Come on,
Oh, I wish.
There's no money.
No, for me, I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
Do people take bribes within MRA? I can't say. But it's a system, so there have been people who have obviously some people have taken bribes. So that is definitely a reality there. So I mean, okay, I'll be honest, my salary was before tax about 400,000. I mean, it's not that much, to be fair.
It was 2018, bro.
2018, but still, even about, I think it was 400, maybe 300 even, maybe. It wasn't that much, which is what I was, and after taxing, my figure actually went at 220, to be honest. Yeah, my figure, it wasn't far, it was 350 or something. After taxing, my figure went at 220. So that was how much I was earning. And I remember when I started that job, there was a situation where I could have taken a bribe. And I talked to my ex, because some people offer. And I'm aware, you know. Guys, my tax and by 10 million kwa job. You know, and this was my first job. And my ex said, no, that's not how you're going to live your life. You know, that's not what you're going to do. So he's like, no. Don't take the money. Don't do anything. You live your life straight. You make your money straight. Yeah. So when I worked at MRA, I earned my 220 after tax, and that was how much I was making. You know, I would pay my rent at the moment was 250, so it didn't even make sense to have that job. Like I didn't even have enough to cover my rent. So MRA was not a money move for me. I needed a job, and that was the first job that came through, and I qualified for it. It was, to be fair, my dad's dream job. He really loved the MRA. So he was happy for me to get there. And I was like, I'll do it. So I did it for a while. It wasn't a bad job, but it wasn't motivating for me. So I was still doing my blogging on the side. I was still doing this and that on the side. It was just a job. And that's why I left it. Because for me, it was literally a job. You know, like I go to work, I do my work, I go home.
Go back home.
I didn't have any passion. Like gender, it's different. When I get in that space, I'm passionate. I care about that work. MRA, I didn't care about it. It was just like, oh, you do this, I do it, I go home, you know, type of thing. So yeah, that was MRA for me. But I wish I was less straight as a person. Maybe I would have taken the bribes and I would have been rich by now.
I mean, you are. I get the point.
Yeah. Am I?
You are rich.
Yeah, I mean, you were rich also. But no, I was
blogging. I was doing all that, you know? Yeah, so I was making money on the side. I've always made money on the side.
You only also 3 months in advance.
You're 3 months in advance.
Oh, we'll end up 220,000.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have a bribe.
Yeah, I go not go at 6 time.
What the time, yeah.
It doesn't go for the same when I 150.
150. Yeah,
then enough figure about 250.
Okay, so now MRA. And you left to do Ntha.
Yes, I did.
You had a lot of money to start.
I did have a lot of money to start. No,
you did.
As a young person, I always felt that we didn't have a space where young people. Okay, after you leave university, I feel like our education system is a bit flawed. Not just ours, maybe everywhere.
Yeah.
When you leave university, you have a lot of academic knowledge, but you don't have enough industry knowledge to know what it means to actually work in a job.
Yeah.
So people usually struggle to transition from school to work.
Yeah.
And like, there's so much that you need to know, so much that you need to learn, all the politics around it. And I felt like there wasn't anywhere when you ask Malawi as well, and to know I might be some information, you know? So it's like, even people don't want to give you the information, it's like you're almost begging for it. So I wanted to create a space where I'm like, let's just mentor young people. Let's push them forward, because it's going to take young people to go forward with Malawi, right? So that was the genesis of Ntha Foundation, figuring out like, how do we empower young people who want to do whatever they want to do to just become mostly entrepreneurs, or if they want to work in management and all of that. So that's what the foundation has been working on, to be fair. So that was when I started. I was still working at MRA. We launched the first. I established it. The name evolved so much. Like, before it was Ntha Foundation, then it was the Nyenyezi Yakuma Foundation. Then Ntha just kind of stuck because my blog is called by Ntha, and it almost felt like an extension of the blog. So that's when Ntha Foundation came in. So Ntha Foundation coming up, the first in-person event, which was very big for me, was at Sunbird Capital Hotel. It should have been June of 2020. It also happens to be the month we're registered. So I talked to Sunbird, and this is how I've built my business over time, through partnerships. I talked to Sunbird, I want to do this and all of that. They said, okay, we can sponsor, we can give you a venue. And they gave me a venue. I remember that day I paid about 100,000 for snacks, I think. And that was for my salary, you know? So I started, we had really good pictures and everything. And we said we're teaching young people how to leverage digital media and digital skills. And it was around that time that it so happened that the World Bank was starting the Digital Malawi project. So at that time, when they were starting the Digital Malawi project, I got a call and they were like, oh, we see you're doing this digital skills training. There is this call for applications in case you'd want to apply. And I remember my friend Timmy invited me, and we went to the networking. There were a lot of creatives there. And I literally remember sitting there and I was telling my friend, I'm like, no ways, this project that they're doing, like, I literally just finished writing a proposal around, like, a concept around teaching people digital skills. So it's like, I don't even need to go back to the drawing board and write something. I already have.
The World Bank one?
Yeah, the World Bank.
Is it Latitude?
Yes.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah, bro.
That night.
You were with cousin Timmy.
Yes,
that's my cousin there.
Timmy.
Street cousin.
Yeah, he invited me. Yeah, so it was that day when I was like, okay, I have a concept for this. I can do it. So it was a very lengthy application process. And I applied for it. And it so happens that they were looking to engage 8 organizations. And I think only 7 applied.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
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 First didn't come from Banga apply.
Yeah, so because we were there, and I think there was only one where they didn't manage to reach an agreement. For me, because I had my own vision and they had their own vision for the project, so we had a lot of negotiations, and eventually I heard what they wanted, we could do what they wanted, so we reached a middle ground. So they wanted to establish a tech hub. I've always wanted to do an innovation and creative hub, but for me, it was like a 10-year plan. So I was like, when I make enough money and all of that, I'll do it. So I was almost pushed to start too early, which I haven't regretted. It's been a good thing. But like, for me, my dream was to start with Ntha Foundation, then eventually make money and build up, and then eventually build our own. I didn't think of renting and all of that, because I was thinking of building our own center. But they were like, no, we have the financing, you should rent. And I was like, okay, we'll rent. So it was like, from then it was just a marathon. And I remember telling my dad, I've gotten this money, I want to leave my job. And my dad is like, why can't you do both? And I'm like, because I want to do that one thing.
Yeah. So for an average Malawian, it would be crazy to leave the MRA.
Yeah.
Even if you have a Tochi farm, even if you're whatever nigga business, just a front, and you're cleaning money for the big people in Malawi, of which I think you are.
You can be the cleaner.
I have been approached.
Oh yeah?
I have been approached.
Tell them I can clean. Me, I
Oh,
clean,
you can?
I clean nice. I clean nice.
They were like, then why do you have a foundation? I said, because we train young people. They're like, people have foundations to clean money. I said, I didn't know.
Yeah. Foundations are there to clean money.
I didn't know. Yeah. I'm doing it wrong.
Very wrong.
I'm doing it wrong.
Very wrong. Well, we don't trust you.
You don't trust me. I wish. I don't have to lie. I would be on Twitter talking about it.
So yeah, you left MRA. Mundhodi Panoba Ari job hunting would curse the hell out of you.
I know.
Like,
How dare you?
There was a lot of word in the street. Yeah. Ntha is being financed by big one in town. Bless her thing.
Bless her thing.
Okay, but she's beautiful. I mean, she could.
Oh my God.
If you bless her.
There were so many offers.
So many offers.
Oh God, yes. Oh God. Yes.
Even now, right?
Samata.
Come on, sama goba.
I'm a boy and do them. I'm a boy and do them. Wow. My offer someone can I buy you a drink? I'm a boy. Can I buy you the latest? And you know, it takes so much much restraint. Actually, when I was in the US, there was some very older than my father. He was gonna give me $1 million.
Wow.
He was offering me the world. He's like, right now I just want to travel the world. And I said, it's okay. I have a business I'm building. But it hurt.
You would have been in that marine.
What did I say?
250K.
So did these rumors make way to your ear? You're sleeping with the man for money, and they're the ones that are funding your dream, and another thing, Zobanga clean money as well. They were all over the place. You know what I'm saying, right? Did they come to you?
No, I mean, they always came to me at the time. So it should have been, 2019, 2020, 21. I was dating someone. He was an expatriate at the time, like I am now.
That I knew.
Like I am now.
10 was 10, eh?
10 was 10. I have one for now. Like I am now.
Yeah.
He was earning as much as I'm earning now. So that's not my definition of rich. Actually, in New York, we're identified as poor New Yorkers. Yeah. On average, right? So it's where expatriates are seen as drama because they earn, a few $1,000s. Yeah. But anywhere else in the world, it's like you're a normal person, you're a typical person. This happened to be a man that really loved me, but he was seen as a person who died in drama in town and all of that. So the relationship, obviously, even though he loved me and I loved him, was never seen through the lens of they love each other. It's alindin drama. We all go drama, So that always made its way to me. In terms of, it was a good relationship, by the way. We're together for a long time. We're best of friends. We're still friends up until now. Yeah. But for me, having him around, I mean, it was never about the money. I mean, don't get me wrong, the money was nice to have. Hey, we lived in a very nice place together.
Yeah, but even the rumors that you had a club in town together.
A club in town? It was his club, but I did manage and market it. Yes, we built it. Okay, let me say, it was his dream. He financed it, but I built the dream. I did everything. So he had the money, but I was the one doing everything together. Yeah, so we did it together. The weird thing is, in any type of relationship, you would hope to do things together, right? I was in a relationship. He's building his dream. I was building the Ntha Foundation. He was building his things. He would mentor me. He actually, even the application, the Digital Malawi grant, he reviewed it. Oh. He reviewed it personally. He actually, of course. He's like, no, you don't say this, you say this and all of that. And that's what a relationship should be. So I can never take credit to say, I can never take it away from him to say he didn't help me. No, he did. He was there full time, like the late nights when I'm sleeping on the couch.
The man was
very nice.
He financed it.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Not even a bit.
Okay, so when you talk about financing, it's a very interesting language, right? Yeah. He had money that I had access. Not that much. I mean, for Malawi, yes, but like that time.
Interview at
in Malawi and money in the New York.
Different man. I feel like what was busy about Twitter about that? I'm living a dream. Drama.
So in that reality, he had the money. I mean, let me say, okay, I was in a space where let's give it he would help me with paying my rent if I didn't have my rent, for example, right?
Which is okay.
Yeah, which is okay. It's a normal relationship. You would think with somebody, if you have more money, it's either way, right? So he would help me out when I needed. But that was definitely a buffer for me to say, that's when I had 100,000 launched in Ntha Foundation, That's when, groceries. I didn't touch groceries bills for 2 years. So,
Why did you leave this man? Huh? Why did he leave you? Why did he leave you?
Very good story. We're good friends. I left.
Oh, yeah?
But, yeah.
Content is known.
we're good.
I think mwamba uchuluka nzelu.
Oh, wait, in Rama doja bale jati machuluka kwa Malawi.
Yeah, kumalawi ndasikana nda Malawi mo, you know. Weseka. Laisa danga lufuna mutamangani.
Tamangani.
Ineyo mundisie bambali.
Kwa club tisi banga manage.
That's when I started applying for Intl. Kuti ndichokepo. Baka nae tuluka kumapita. Basi ito. But we're still good friends. It's nothing bad.
Anatawisilangela said.
Anatawisilangela.
If you're so we are like do you want the latest Jenny? Okay.
Hey, but
What latest can you say?
I don't know, my guy. Do you want the latest pepe because I modified the sound.
Panopo even ujenjani panopo antaka maponya game ya panopo game inasinta. Panopo it's just couldn't muntu wa controlled kama hii game inasinta. I have bought the latest chakuti. Kuna ota kundipanga offer bene what ndingo vomina.
Kungoti
Ndo mangoda good for you.
Nauru one good for you.
Asikala moto yako. Dala kwisi.
And good for you.
Yeah, but no, he was a good mentor that phase for sure. So as you put it, those rumors were there and people talking about it. For me, it wasn't never about that. That wasn't the value I got from there. He taught me how to navigate the business world. You know, like as a businesswoman, this is what you do. As a businesswoman, this is what you do. As a professional, as a development practitioner,
this is what you do.
Yeah, the mentorship is what has made me get to where I am, to get the job that I have now, to run my business to where it is now. I can never take that away from him. And even up until now, I still call him and I say, I need advice, you know? And because we didn't leave each other on bad terms like that. So I can still call and say, I'm doing this. What's the best way to approach it? And he'll be like, no, this is what you do.
Ex-bay, ndrama za juluga, izi ndani.
Ndipangekana baba na mada, okay, izi za juluga, nde musalengeze kaya, mukale kaya pay. Yeah, nde akasaina contract, nga mkoza kulengeza. Nde mazona talengeza, nakote, kwa bwela ndrama.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Ndadi, you spoke of Ntha Foundation. You said you wanted a platform. Unagamba za sharing of information. That's where I wanted to chip in. Do you think in Malawi, tima kanizana information for the tukobode na banga progress kabina information yulibe?
Information ilipo kwa mbili.
Are you sure?
Akwa basi.
Because then mona ngadet. Meno man the education system is a bit of flawed. Kuti Inayo, ningatongo kaula, guys, I'm a general manager here. This kanga ndumana information. I have no idea what's going on.
There is that too. There are a lot of ignorant people. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And how ndi ma big yori akubanga lead ma places yori they're very crucial.
Big, yeah.
You know? Kama the health sector ija za gender zomwe zo ja ndingana ma feminist tango kala kwi antawo demo. Because they don't have information not because awa kumana but
information kulibego. Yeah, it's all those things are true. All those things are true. When you go into, I mean, why I built my media company is like, I'm like, guys, we need to promote Malawi. And it's like, where is the content? Kulibe. So I'm no creating the content.
Yeah,
like, okay, create content. Okay, we want to support Malawian musicians.
Yeah.
Who are the musicians? What do they need?
Yeah.
It's like no structures are there.
Nothing.
So literally, it's like we've been building everything from the ground up, you know? So for me, my vision and my dream is to get a space where we have the documentation for Malawi, you know? Like we're properly documented and we're here. And I really hope for that to be a reality. So the information is there. The reality around also Malawi since Gawana information. It's very true.
Yeah.
You know, like even in Esmantobesa, like even being here for just a week or two, like just trying to even schedule a meeting with someone. Could I say we're trying to do something which can be mutually beneficial?
Yeah.
Just trying to schedule that meeting. And all of that, which is a very when I go and say people are like, if it's like, I love the West where it's like if it's business, it's business. It's like what are we doing? And Malawi, it's like you should butter me up. Let me check my schedule on Monday. I'll get back to you. You know, when we're not progressing because it's like we need to have that information out there, especially for young professionals, especially in a world where we don't have a private sector in Malawi and we want more entrepreneurs. Information, you know, we need to empower those entrepreneurs and give them good business. This is what you need to know.
Yeah.
So for me, like I have had the privilege of having great mentors around me and also having great access to the internet, which not everybody does, you know. So I'm able to Google stuff at the, my fingertips and all of that, and I get that information. And for me, it's like, how do we get this information to the the most local Malawian? Business. What's the first thing that they should know? Because if there are mistakes that I have made, the next person doesn't have to make the same mistake, you know?
Yeah.
So we make that in a situation where people understand they're trained first. When the business idea, okay, business idea and diago. Oh, I've heard you. Even for me, like the same thing I'm telling you, like with my ex and even other mentors that I've had, okay, when you've thought about this, this is not right. Don't do that way. What if you tried this? What if you tried this? That is such a, and now we have the ecosystems and we have the tech hubs, the innovation hubs that are there and all these training programs. And we really need that for like all the, you know, young entrepreneurs and young creatives that are coming up. Yeah. So that's the heart of why I started the foundation.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Komano. I was telling this friend of mine, I was like, yo, meeting Tanda, you know, podcast things.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, the one and only. Okay, cool. Ask her one question. Bully stories. Marymount.
Okay. Who was this? A girl or a guy?
A girl.
A girl. She had Marymount.
I don't know. I think so. I should think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like,
I had a bit of, it wasn't that thing. When I look back, I wouldn't call it bullying because I'm not one to be bullied. Let's give it that.
Okay.
But I have always been hated. Let's give it that. Because I've always been a louder than life personality. I've always been a very large personality. And as always, there were always people who felt that they had to put me down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, in high school, it was definitely huge. There were people who, I can't say it was bullying because it's not like they were targeting me personally, but there was just like always those things. I mean, very silly. Now I look back and I'm like, it was very silly. Like there was a time we went to a trip and I remember there was a boy that girls liked. And I didn't know that people liked him like that. I ended up chilling with him and then he asked me to be his girlfriend. We dated actually for 2 years after. Ooh. But when I came back, there was a rumor in the school newsletter that I stole a boyfriend. Ooh. And I was like, which boy? And I was like, you know, those, and this is a newsletter I run, by the way. So people tried to put it past me and get it into the papers. Yeah. So it wasn't bullying like we don't have any of that. It was just that there was always gossip and, you know, negative things. But that's up until now. Yeah. So back then it felt like bullying. But I look back now. Also, it made me become a person who just doesn't give a damn. So I'm like, even now when people drag me on Twitter, I'm just like, what new thing can you say? Looking
back at that, maybe you just had a strong mind. But my friend and I got
they'll be broken by it.
By that.
Absolutely.
You know, bullying because you're like, that was just silly. Yeah. But there's this little child that's 15 and they're going through that. My center, 2 minutes, girl center. You know what I mean? So how best can we sort out this?
Yeah, I think
because we're gonna over Twitter and they
grow up to become bullies. Yeah. It's the same exact people. Yeah. So I think. Yeah, but what it's rooted in is that, like, okay, for me, what I've taken throughout my life is I have always been that loud personality. And by people who are already insecure, they take, like, basically it's that, you know, that type of thing. So then it's like, and you see people, like, you know, I don't know, I'm wrong, but I think I'm at that level where people, like, they're like, what else can we say about her, you know? But there are those people who are coming up right now. Yeah. And I hear some people like, I want to get in the media, but I'm so scared because people might attack me. And, you know, like, there's nothing you can say about me that was like literally you can try to insult me and I'll just be like, okay, good day. But there are a lot of young people who don't have that whatever. They're still in that space where maybe if I say, hey, Mwenduago, and they will really be hurt about that, you know? True. So it's a good and a bad thing that I got where I am because I just don't give a damn, but it's because I've heard it all. But what do we do about the ones that are coming up that still care? Like if I say, hey, Mwenduago, and they'll go back and look at them when and they'll shrink, you know, for 2 whole weeks, you know. So definitely, I think bullying comes from insecure people, and I think it shouldn't be there, but it is. In there for me, I say, good, it's our upbringing. I think I grew up around a mother. My mother was a very most brilliant woman ever. I'm not even exaggerating. Brilliant brain. She didn't care about anything or anybody. Like that's why I think where I get it from, because she just lived her life and did her thing. Yeah. I think if you grow up around a family or around people, and all of that, you become that person too, because that is the reality. And then you think, I must break you down to, you know, feel greater about myself. For me, with my mother, she was about her job. Like for her to excel, like even for me, like My excelling, you will never see me putting down another person. Like, oh, if you're sure you're twin abanga in a floor before you're all sin abang. No, it's not that, because it's not a competition, you know. But if you grow up around people who full time they're competing, hey, a Podcastmalawi, hey, you know, when you can just focus on your thing and do your thing, hey, fashion design, or you go down my time, hey,
dress
you know, dress hey, but city like another jonch, hey, one malok samene. You know, we have that as Malawians. Chilling can wife.
Okay.
The music video abanga banje, sina nsangalase, wa flow ba mene basi wata. Why that? When I've hung around Nigerians a lot in the US, you cannot trash anything Nigerian, bruh. You cannot speak down on any Nigerian artist. But you as an outsider can't come.
Cannot.
But mena Malawi, number one, you know, talking down about, you know, our fellow Malawian, you know. We're the front and the center of, you know,
of it all,
we knew it. I mean, I mean, our friends, like Nigerians, are very proud. Like, I remember that I was having a chat with a friend recently, and no, I posted on Twitter, actually. So I was talking about, I think, you know, I'm a manager, and Maria gomanzanga amapika ngati neyo inefani mati ndikalowa kitchen mango ndingazimezi ndivyo kuponya ndimapika ngati bachale then Nigerian amapika ngati neyo Nigerian friend anabwera atu ndandipanga call out no you don't speak on Nigerian food is the greatest. I said bebani, it's the greatest indeed. Telele ndi nyama ndi nsomba zonse. But you know, that pride that they have about who they are. Like, he would not even let me trash Nigerian food. And Malawi, if somebody just trashes us, number one, I pay sitting up one say, if you is simbali atu. You know,
Mozambique. And
even other people, actually, even because the person I was dating was Kenyan, and he said, I have never seen a people who are this negative. You know? Like people who are negative to their own people, you know, negative to each other. You know, like you don't like anywhere you go. If it's a Nigerian business and go blame Nigerians will go and support.
Yeah. I had a Nigerian Ninja client just last week. Amagambaza food Omwase. We have a shop. These are the places where we eat. You know, specifically, they know.
They support it. In New York, there's Lagos Club. It's the busiest club, and you go there and have a vala the Nigerians, and they're so proud to be there. Malawi kutuka yambe business ngamne first of all ndani balaki ndani nipange support ngati ndani you know like tumamba kufunza
this is a serious conversation.
It is
because I think if Malawi is like this, it's because of the fundamentals of us. Like our fundamentals are so wrong, so corrupted to a point that we have never seen success.
We've never seen it.
So when we see it, we anyone who attempts to succeed here, it has to be And I wonder how you have dealt with it. And I think I was getting to how Brandon was asking the question. Because here, if you attempt, let alone you're a woman, and you're attempting success, you're going to be dragged for it.
Oh, I've lived it.
So, examples of things that you have made in the industry.
Yeah.
People that have tried to drag you, or scenarios where you were dragged down because of your attempts to get there.
Oh wow.
One major one.
I think the thing is I don't center them. So I actually have like I'm thinking there's been so many, but I actually have to think about it. I was actually tweeting. I'm always tweeting. Yeah. So I was tweeting earlier today. I'm like, one thing I learned from my mother was there is no dead end. You always find a way around it. Like you always find a new way. So I've definitely met a lot of situations where I'm like, I know I did not get this opportunity because I'm a woman. And it's because I'm a woman, I'm young. And I mean, now that I'm in the global space, I also think that I'm Black. So there's a new dynamic in my existence. So here, let's see, what big one can I say? But this thing, I don't like calling people out. But there's been a lot. So, you know, I don't want to think about them. I don't want them to feel bad about it. Because I want us to be better. And I mean, if anybody is watching this and they feel that there was a time where they didn't support me because I'm a woman or because I'm just Ntha. Yeah, for not to me, but for the next person, do better, you know, be different, you know, like the next young person who's coming with a dream. Because for the longest time, it's now when people think I have money, but back then I had nothing, you know, I just had like, literally, I left my home. My parents were okay to do, But I said I'm going to build my own life. And my parents had that about them, that, build your own thing, test your own things, test your own water. So even now, if my dad can help me, he will still allow me to do my own thing. So when I look at, even though I'm not an advocate for self-made, I think we should have generational wealth. But my business was self-made from the ground up. Like my parents didn't put any money in my business. Actually, nobody put any money in my business.
Yes.
I've built that business from the ground up. So we need that support. We need to support each other, Like, I'm having such a busy day, but Podcastmalawi wants to do a podcast. I should be able to say, let me come on. Hey, what in Dan Podcastmalawi? Hey, what happened, Jan? Hey, and Dan Pasajan, Because and that's the Malawian nature where I'm
it's
like,
Malawian nature, right?
It is.
But a quick one, in terms of struggle, I know you're here. You're talking about being strong, being a strong woman, being raised by a strong woman.
Yeah.
But there are times when Brandon believes that there is mental health issues, right?
Of course.
Have you ever been?
No.
No, we don't. Mental health is a frustration. We have been frustrated ever since we were
But that's the thing. As Malawians, we're living with those mental health issues. We don't even know that we are. As you're saying, Chibadwile. Mental health issues. That's mental health.
So anyway, the question is basically around, have you ever had moments when you're so down, things weren't working, and you're like, I think, can I just quit?
Can I just quit? Can I just quit? No, I've never been a quitter. No. Let me see. Mental health issues are definitely very real. I was depressed from about 20, maybe longer, as we say, we live with that depression. But I was aware of it from 2020 to 2022. And it would surprise you because this is the time I was, with my ex, the money and everything. So it's like, you have the money. Why are you depressed? But I think it was the space where I'm like, finally, I have access to everything. So I can no longer blame it on couldn't deliver rent. I can no longer blame it on that deliver my groceries. I have everything. My vacation to my beta, living good life. I'm driving a Prado, a Z4. I'm good. But I was still not okay. And that's the time that I had to face myself face to face, and it wasn't a short process. So I remember my ex actually offering, I say, you have to go to therapy. And in Magananga, I'm fine. So this is nothing. I said, no, you need to go to therapy. He actually offered and said, if you go to therapy, I'll also go to therapy with you. Like, we'll go together. Fine. So you just get some, help. So I definitely think to young people, get help. Mental health issues is not just about, because in Malawi, we think it's just about the money. But even after you get the money, there is so many underlying issues. It's about finding, especially as you grow into adulthood, because that's when you start questioning. And I think our parents, they do get to that level. Mama figure at 40 years because for them, they were chasing the things. And for them, it was more organized. They didn't have access to information. So it was our maliza scoop, it's anchito, belikana. And then when they get to 40, that's when they have the midlife crisis, which is a mental health crisis, to be fair, right? True. Now for us, we have access to information. The questions they ask at 40, we're asking at 20, So it's like, what's the meaning of all of this? Hey, if I get a job, then what? The questions that they asked after Belikana, if they were asking them at 20, that's why we have the mental health crisis right now. So these young people are like, okay, I get a job and then what? I do that and then what? Because we also have access to the internet. Back then, but and it was you're confined. Now, Twitter, Miami, and then you're like, I know, so what about me? And I think, as young people, we should definitely get help. In terms of, because I'm not a quitter, but that's not to say that I have a lot of hard days. Yesterday I cried. I actually went to my dad and I hugged him crying. I was surprised. I haven't cried in a long time. I went to my dad crying. And I think today he actually told me, he's like, you know what, you need to slow down. Like when I was leaving, he's like, I want your life. I don't want you to burn out and lose it. So now it's a different kinds of problems. That is because I'm so busy. I was running a meeting at work. It was very overwhelming. I feel like I'm not good enough. And my dad says I work too hard. So I have different kinds of problems. And I think it's good to take care of your mental health. And even the accident I'm talking about, I zoned out because I was so burnt out, so tired. I should have taken time to rest. So I think there's so many layers to it. So we should definitely take the help. And yes, mental health is real.
We come from a place where we don't recognize it and it works better for us. Anyway, you're talking about being burnout and stuff of that nature. And I've always wondered, why do you keep on creating more ventures? Because that much as you can do it and you're capable, but Does it do well for you?
Yeah. Actually, I stopped creating. Yeah. So the last thing I created should be Music for Malawi or Bands to Business. Those were the last two. And even those I was reluctant to create. So from my beginning, I think just my businesses, I have created maybe over 10 businesses within the same company. So there are over 10 businesses in that. And it's too much. It is. It's absolutely too much for anybody, really. And I mean, they all become good things and they all work out. But to me, it's a lot of burnout. And I've had to learn a lot around like managing and creating a business. So at this point, like even my team is like, you want to create a new thing? I'm like, no. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So for me, when I started creating these things, it was like, and that's the thing around collaborating in Malawi, as we say, right? I advocate for this a lot, also from a personal front, because I'm like, I want audiences to talk something and then we do it together. So for example, when I created an e-learning system for DigiSavvy, right, which is still being created and I still think we'll create it to a further level. When I created that system, it's because it was not there. And when you talk to other people, let's collaborate. Kumakala either, one, or they're being unrealistic, or you give them the work and they don't do the work, you know? So working with each other also becomes a big problem. So it's like, how do we work together? Because I don't have to do everything myself. And I advocate for that strongly. Like, for example, for our shows now, like ever since I started my career, they're hosted by Q. Like, I know nothing about sound production. Q does all of that. And that's one of the few people that I can say I've worked with. When it comes to photography and media, everything that I know, I learned from Bensam. You know, and he handles that side of my business. Like, I don't take a photo of my business. Every picture that you've seen of my business come out on social media, even of myself, has been with him. My portrait photography is done by Stunt Photography. My makeup, I mean, not today, but any other time, is done by Kissa's Beauty House. And these are people who have reached out to me, and we've been able to build those collaborative things. So in an ideal situation where everything worked, I wouldn't have had to build all the businesses that I had to build. But it was literally from necessity.
Will be done by Podcastmalawi.
Yes, Podcastmalawi. You see that?
It's on record, yeah?
On record?
On record.
It's a different conversation.
Yeah, so we should be able to collaborate. Like, we are Gaishi. And that's also part of, I don't know if it's off the record or on the record, the conversation we are having with artists today at the event later is all of you are trying to do something, and all of them actually talk to me. I don't know why, but they always reach out to me to manage them as artists. I'm like, I don't have any experience managing an artist, but more than 5 big artists have reached out to me to manage them. So we said,
I know some.
You know some?
Yeah.
Because people in Malawi think when you're being managed, they'll give you money.
They'll give you money. But they have ideas. And they just want
manage
to,
me, mommy.
They want manage. Yeah.
Manage me, mommy.
So they've approached me like, I want to be managed by you.
I want to be managed.
So that's how we set up the Music for Malawi platform. For that, it was literally supposed to just be a live music desk. Like when we started, we just like, we're going to set up a live music desk. We'll invite an artist, perform, and that's it. But we're like, no, artists need more. So they need access to resources. They need spaces to network. And that's when we got deeper into that conversation, and that's what we built the brand. So my stuff, I didn't build it. I never take credit for it. For Music for Malawi, for me, I just wanted it. You watch Tiny Desk, right? It was supposed to be something like that for Malawi. But then they built it, they put in a proposal, they sent it to Music in Africa. Music Africa bought into it. They gave us 10,000 euros that time. They did a training. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Maybe we can do more of it. And then we added that to the thing. I make all the websites. I made the website for them. I said, yeah, push, go. This time around, I was in the US. I told them, I'm like, for me, I was like, once the Digital Malawi project is done, I want to slow down. I want to take some time to myself. So I was like, Tiga Maliza, Ntha Foundation has to, go under, let's slow down. Hey, sorry, we have won a grant. I'm like, okay, let's continue. And that's when they're like, oh, we got another one, 70,000 euros for the project. And I'm like, okay, proceed. Let's see what you can do. So then they obviously get the advice. We have a board. I am no longer active in the foundation.
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm no longer active in the foundation. We have a managing director. We have a whole board. So they do everything. And it's interesting, when you were the person, the star of the show, doing everything yourself, and now you're just sitting back. You just see it happening, and you're like, okay, I attend the event, and it's happening. It's like it's nice. Yeah. Now
you've mentioned Zinzambili collaboration and all that. You also brand yourself as a jack of all trades.
Somebody called me Jane of all trades.
Kapina Jackes.
Yeah, Jackes.
Jackes of all trades. Was it out of necessity?
Absolutely.
This is Malawi. This is Malawi.
And how close to the truth is it? Because when learning business, you had to master the art of bullshit. So I say, I'll be on Google, there, YouTube, how to tie a shoe.
Yeah, that's the one. But that's entrepreneurship. That's literally what it means, jack of all trades. My first business was selling nail polish. Selling nail polish. Then I sold shoes. Then I made some money and I started nagula my hair dryer and napanga saloon. So I've literally tried everything. And it's out of necessity, but also it's the entrepreneurial culture. Any entrepreneur that you know, as far as I know, even the ones that are upcoming now that I really support, they are willing to try anything. So as you put it, somebody will say, Ntanda, ndifuna jagut. And then at the front, I mean, now that I've, made my brand and I've made a bit of money, I'm able to say no now. Back then, it's like, Ntanda, ndifuna website. You're like, okay, jagut. Ndibase ndrama. Ndo makayamba, but I couldn't yanga ndani. Ndibangenda ndikamuze beni, ndikapese ndani. And then you build it from there. So for me, jack of all trades, my definition of that is that I can do a little bit of everything. But this has been now specialized into my company. So before it was like I can try several things. That's no longer a reality. I'm not willing to try a lot of stuff. I would say no to almost everything. Somebody was offering me, Ntanda, does order my iPhone? And I said, I cannot. That's not me at the moment.
Yes, money.
The money?
Yeah, you have the dollar.
It's the money.
Yeah, man.
Being in Malawi, right? You do everything for survival.
Survival.
It has to work.
But opportunity
Come on, you're like,
yeah, but I feel like you get to that level where you're able to choose, and I'm privileged enough to be in that space where I'm like, I can say no to some stuff. Like he asked me, I'm like, yeah, before I said, go the batch. The second batch, but now I was able to say, no, that's not who I am. But in my company, actually, that was before I left. I used to identify as a jack of all trades, that I knew all corners of my company. Photography, website development. I was teaching the ICT degreed people how to do a website, and I'm the economist in the situation, so it didn't make sense. But I've always been as out of necessity. So I'm building a business and I need to understand it from start to finish. So literally, set up your furniture. Napunzira procurement in it. Oh, matebula amaenda chonchi. Mipando ndimagola ukalo wa mugemo. Titani. So that was out of necessity. Now, having moved out of the business, I always tell people, I'm like, if Rhoda, who's the managing director now, if she left, I wouldn't know where to begin. I don't know how to do the taxes. I don't know how the money moves. I don't know who to pay rent. So you get to that level where you're no longer. So I maybe I'm no longer a jack of all trades. I don't know, but so
you're a princess now.
Yeah, now I'm princess of all trades.
She has money. She has a solution to all problems.
Come on, money is an illusion, guys.
But I have the illusion. You don't.
I have the illusion.
You don't have the illusion. So yeah.
Especially living in the US where now I have so many credit cards and they're thrown at me and I don't use all of them. But if I wanted to, I have almost the reality of it is if I wanted to, I would have even almost $30,000 in just credit. Of course, if you mismanage that, you end up in debt.
Yeah.
But that's why I say it's an illusion, because I'm like, I have access to, if I wanted, because I would have always said, go Dachiri Jones. And as a business woman, to be honest, I would be able to churn that and bring it back.
Yeah, true.
But I'm a bit more careful about how I manage my credit. But that's why I realized, I think Kumara gonna go on power to Wambiri to Komanzatu, they have access to money is literally it's like it's not much so let my good 20 waja jaguti yanga ikale hapa ikale mu bank kama yana 700,000 kuti ukapost up Twitter screenshot bank balance but many kwanzatu they just quickly churning cash. That's why most of the rich people they're in debt. They're in debt because they're not keeping liquidity, so it's like kubanki kuli $20,000 iloebe na bagi banka izizake. I know business people in Malawi, even when you talk about the clubs that I was managing, where I've seen those people who were churning that kind of money, the people who own the big clubs in Malawi, and they would lose hundreds of millions, do a whole event, invest how much, the event was a whole loss,
True.
So much of that I realized ukafika level imene yoyo kwina kumangokhala it's an idea. But you have to be privileged enough to izabwera.
Privilege.
Yeah, privilege.
That's a nice word. Let's go back. Yo, it was very easy for you to get an internship, you and women.
It was not, but
it was. Yeah. After college. College. You were one of the biggest.
Before I ask you a question, I think this is a question that is crazy. In your success, out of 10,
yeah,
how has your beauty played part?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, you're calling me beautiful.
Whatever you want to hear.
Here we don't do all women are beautiful.
Yeah.
Here we say there are standards.
There's standards of beauty.
Yeah.
So where am I?
I don't know.
Tonele charity basiri baje. Nabanga criteria.
Not a criteria.
Nabanga festival.
Yeah, but out of 10, like how do you see your beauty taking you to these spaces, to these opportunities? Like how do you rate it?
Let me say, as a development practitioner, it doesn't matter because that space is all about brains and degrees. So it's about what you do, and I'm really good at what I do. As a businesswoman, very far, to be honest. And yeah, no, I have to be honest. It's an honest question. It's an honest answer and a good question. I don't view. Okay, no, I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it when people say it, and it's not like I'm saying I'm oblivious to it. But I don't look at myself as a beautiful woman. But I understand that people perceive me in that way. Do I? Hey, go again. Yeah. But it's not the first thing that I think about. But I know that people perceive me in that way. So, for example, I have had access to very high-level executives, people that maybe you would not have access to, just because I'm a beautiful woman and because I can wear a slit like I'm wearing, you know? Yeah. So I'm going to have a business meeting, but just because I'm a beautiful woman, they're able to grant me... We're okay?
No, we're okay.
Okay. They're able to grant me that meeting because maybe even for them, not actively, but just subconscious that they want to be in the vicinity.
Kind of thing.
The subconscious kind of thing. So I will be very honest to say, you chasing a business meeting and I chasing a business meeting is not the same thing, you know? And that's part of the gender dynamics where we have to talk about it. I mean, desirability and beauty are things that I have advocated for and against. To say, I mean, we can't change the world. If I could, I would, when we talk about fairness and equity, right? Because I don't think that other people should be looked down upon because they're less good looking, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that word. I don't want to say it. I hate that word. I hate that we look at this world. I mean, I did a pageant, so I shouldn't even be one to speak. But even within that, having done that, I'm like, I've seen how the world treats beautiful people. And I've seen how the world treats people that they think are not beautiful. And I mean, this goes beyond, I mean, beauty is just one aspect. But there is even the aspect of black and white, for example. It's the same exact dynamic that a white person will be granted an interview better than probably a black person. Like I had one circumstance where I felt like I was being treated as a black woman, you know? And I felt it and I said, damn, this is horrible. You know, I'm like, because usually when I go places, when I'm in New York, I dress really nice. I look rich, basically, right? Yeah. Even for New York. Yeah. So people treat me very nicely, even when I walk into a space. So there was one night I went out with my girls in Navala Bam Shorty, and, you know, I was looking just as a normal person. Yeah. And that was the first time I thought that I was being treated as an African black woman. Not an African woman, but an African black woman. Yeah. So that was the first time I thought I was being treated as that. And that's the same around even beauty dynamics. Yeah. So yeah, to answer the question, it has played a part. I've been able to, I mean, obviously I don't walk into a room just because I'm a black woman. I mean, just because I'm a beautiful woman and people give me the deal, but it gets me into the door. It gets me into those meetings. It gets me into the meeting. For sure, it does. It does. And so many of them. Yeah. So many.
So many.
That's why I have to post my pictures. I have to remind you that, you know, I look like this. And I might have seen my picture today. No, you're just wrong.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking. Also, actually, it's the same thing.
Yeah, the same privilege. Yeah.
Yeah. Beauty. Then for me. So you managed to get your job. You managed to get an expert as a boyfriend.
Yeah. It's the same. Hey, he loved me. Yeah, that man.
Yeah, because he knew there's not so many beautiful people in Malawi. Yeah. Sorry. I go ask you later. So my question was the job aspect now. A lot of people that you graduated with, or people who didn't graduate before you.
Before me, yeah.
They're still throwing my
application,
my CV, or you got also in Would you say we were privileged? Could you had connections? You have connections.
When it comes to jobs, honestly, no. All my jobs, I wasn't. I've not had many jobs. I've actually only had 2 jobs. I've had the job that I had at MRA, and I've had the job that I have now. Yeah. So those are the only jobs that I've gotten. For the MRA job, I applied in the pool with everybody. Yeah. So I got that job with the pool with everybody, right? And that was like a lot of us there. So that was just it happened. Yeah. with the job that I have now in New York, they put out a call for a graduate program. So they put out a call for a graduate program. At the time, I was starting a new management training in my company. So I said, oh, they're doing something around young professionals, you know, talented people and all that. So I was like, let me see how they're hiring so that next I can hire Mwina the same way. I learned something from what they're doing. So I applied for that reason. So I got through the first, I apply, I announce 38,709 people applied. I said,
7,000.
yeah, 38,000, about 39,000 in total. And they were looking for 20. And I said, no way. No, I said, I didn't go to you know? 38,000. 20 people. 20
1, 2, 3, 4, 20.
Yeah, 20
Not
people.
20,000.
Not 20,000. 20 people. Yes, 20 people. So obviously after I applied, I said, how many people applied? But you know. Then I got an email. Oh, you made it to the next phase. And I said, I don't need not thinking could I will get it to the end.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's see how they're doing it. So I did that. Then after that, we now were like, oh, top 6,000. Like 6,000 made it to this one. I was like, 6,000 and hambiribe. After that, we got 600. And I said, okay. Now I started taking it a bit more seriously. Then we made it to the top 60, which was a virtual assessment center. And then that one was like, okay, you know, like I said, once I get to the interview, I know I've got it, you know. But before that, it's like, you know, it's a bit because we are competing my CV, Jan. So when I made it to the virtual assessment center, I did really well. Then they selected the top 30 for the pool. So we are in the pool, and then we now had interviews and everything. So I had the first interview. I was not successful because I didn't match what they were looking for. So they were looking for somebody specific, and they came back and said, no, that's not what, because, you know, I'm very creative. I'm very, give me events, give me comms. And they were looking for a pure economic researcher. Even though I'm an economist, I do a bit of research, but it's not where I come alive. I'm more this person, events and everything. So they were like, yeah, we want a researcher. And I was heartbroken because I was already ready. Like, I'm going to New York. Then it's like, it didn't happen. Yeah. And then I was like, I even remember I cried that day again. I cry. Yeah. Crying is healthy. Yeah.
You should
cried.
explain this part, because sometimes when people look at you, you feel like you are just this machine.
Everything is just, yes.
You also meet these hurdles, right?
Yeah, no, we do. So far too many, actually. Because, you know, there's the iceberg theory where, like, the 10% that you get to see is just the successes. But the no's, I mean, okay, I've worked so hard to get to a place where I get more yeses than no's, fine. But before, there were, like, so many no's. So, like, yeah, and for me, it was just like, I think I just don't dwell in the no, so I just pivot quickly and just like, you know, let's do the next thing. So anyway, the next one was my current office, and they were looking for somebody for a conference they were planning, and I have a lot of conference planning experience. And now we established a whole new coalition, and I'm working on that, doing knowledge management and comms. That's also a space that I excel in. So when it comes to coming back to the question now, privilege in finding opportunities, I think, yeah, if there is a God, he loves me for sure. Yeah. I have been privileged for sure.
Yeah.
I look at things that happen in my life, like even in the grant that my company got. I established the Music for Malawi thing, and I love Malawian music, by the way. I'm like one of the greatest advocates of Malawian music. In my apartment, if you watch my IG stories, I do not post any other type of music apart from Malawian music. I'm like, if anybody's going to advocate for us, it's us, right? So I was thinking, I'm like, I want to do a Malawian music show. And it was just a dream. I didn't even know what my company was doing, Konogo. I tweeted this, and I said, I want to do an acoustic Malawian music show. At the time, I was thinking, I want to do a live music show. I didn't know my team was applying for this and all of that. I was like, I'm going to finance it. I'll fund it myself. I'll do something just for my birthday. And then my team comes back to me and says, we won 70,000 euros to do trainings and a live show. And I'm like, what are the odds, you know? So like, even with my team, the people that work for me or in my company, they're always like, how? Like, how do things just happen for you? So yeah, definitely I've been very blessed. And things have worked out. I mean, like, even stuff, it's pure grace, you know. I mean, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. There's a lot of things that have happened in my life that even think of the Digital Malawi project, where literally in the bank alone to do bank digital skills training. I would bank but he got a million up. And I'm already ready, you know. I have proof of concepts, the tunes, and all of that. Like, that's just been pure grace. So for me, yeah, privilege has been there. Even to have the supporters that I have, the mentors that I have had. Yeah, I'm very grateful for it. Yeah. So yeah, that's unexplainable, to be honest, to me. Like, yeah, it just happens.
Talk of grace, how did you miss Miss Malawi? What happened?
Oh God, that's the story. That's the story.
What year was that?
Everybody was hoping. I know.
What year was that?
2017. Yeah, 2017. To be honest, they need to explain to me. Because from the beginning they said that it was going to be the marks that were going to be weighed from the beginning to the end, right? And if we're going to go by that, I won by far, because from the preliminary I was ahead, the regional I was ahead. So the person that won, we were in the same preliminaries, were in the same regional, so it does not make sense for that person to beat me just at the final, right? That's one aspect of it. At the end of the day, it's a competition. The final night maybe matters. Maybe there were, opinions and all of that. So I don't know why I didn't win. But to be honest, I'm grateful that I didn't win. I'm, in a very weird way, I'm grateful that I didn't win because, let's be honest, which Miss Malawi is bigger than me? Let's be honest.
That's the one. I think
who has achieved more than me? But if I had won Miss Malawi, I would have gotten comfortable. I would have sat down and said, and wear the crown on my head and be like, look at me, But because I didn't win, I was like, okay, the battle is still on. We're still fighting, And I've gone that in my head because I didn't win. I've gone to say, I need to build a business. I need to do. If I had that crown, maybe I would have pushed, but I doubt. I would have really just been like, I'm at the top. So I didn't get to my prime too early, in my opinion. So I still kept pushing. Yeah, so anyway, they need to explain to us how I didn't win there, but... No, but that's the thing, I was accused, actually, this is the thing. Somebody, I don't know how far true, but one of the organizers came to me and told me, Guti, people went and said, Guti, I was sleeping with the judge.
Were you sleeping with the judge?
I'm like, the rumor was there, yeah. Because the judge just loved me. The judge loved me from the auditions because I was brains. I would have to admit that I was brains, and he loved the fact that I was brains, and he was just in love with me for that. So apparently, because somebody went and said, "Oh, she's sleeping with him," because now they just did 1-on-1 and said, that's why he loves her. But he literally just loved me for my brain. I don't know who went with that rumor or how far true it was, but that rumor was there. So that he just loved like the way I was answering questions and all of that. And I think I made that competition a competition of brains than beauty, really, Yeah, but no shade to anybody. Like, I love Sisi. She deserved to win. Yvonne was gorgeous. It was a very stiff competition, let's be honest. It was also, I don't think there's been a Malawi.
Theories.
Theories. Okay, let's hear it.
That Miss Malawi is a rigged competition.
Yeah.
Money, sex, power.
Yeah.
Takes the center stage.
Okay.
Okay.
You were there.
I was there.
You didn't see anything fishy?
Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Let me be honest. Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
There we know you. We pay attention. You have too much attention.
I pay.
You have excess attention.
Like I saw everything.
Excess attention.
In all
How
honesty,
much money other people are paying? You didn't see. The receipts.
I honestly, I think I wasn't paying attention to it. Okay, the thing about it is I'm very detail oriented, but I'm also very about getting things right. So I'm very much about getting things on merit. So okay, traffic when I get Mazayona be too pinit. On a very broader spectrum, I will not bribe my way to get anything because it won't even feel nice if I have it,
Yeah, true.
So if I was going to win Miss Malawi, for example, I would have wanted to do it because I deserve it. There was nothing to gain from it apart from knowing that I won on, fair merit. So even being first runner-up for me was what I deserved for me. Like even whatever the universe gives me, I'm very much about accepting what the universe thinks is fitting for me. And I always feel like there's no wrong thing. So I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege, as you put it.
Yeah,
because for me, I'm like, everything that happens, whatever the good and the bad, I'm always like, okay, what is the universe trying to give to me and all of that? So Miss Malawi being that, I know it's been rumored to be that. It's either I didn't see it happening or maybe I missed it. But I don't think it was there. I don't know.
You didn't have a sponsor because
I didn't. That's why I lost it.
We have a theory here that to win Miss Malawi, you need to be very organized. You need to have a team, someone who can bribe.
Okay.
You need to have someone who's ready to sleep with someone.
Okay.
You need to have someone.
Not you, Goma winner.
No. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
just to the show.
There has to be.
No, I got it wrong. You guys should have been there to tell me this thing.
You're working with the wrong people now.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, it was the entire show. That's how I lived.
But there are rumors. So we don't know how true they are.
Yeah.
But I think Malawi, because of the rate of corruption that is there, everything that you can have, if you can get corruption for
to get your kid in a secondary school, even in a primary. Corruption for a university. People think university is fair. Like, people corrupt for that thing. There's corruption from ground to up. And I wonder why you never gotten your own team.
But no, nothing I've gotten in my life. Nothing. Like, you know, I've actually
for you to win, you needed something.
You need something. I don't believe in winning in that. How to, I don't know. I'm speaking from a place of privilege, I can acknowledge. How do you live with it? You know, that's why I ask. You know, like, for me, I live with my wins. I own them. That's why I'm able to announce on Twitter.
How do you live with it?
It's normal.
Politicians in Malawi living.
It's normal. It's the way of living here.
It's every day. Like,
it's everywhere.
Corruption. Straight up. We know I'm saying best your way. You move the was a 500 1 for hands. You see? Ukafika kunchito wabanga bribe and it's normal.
Yeah, but that's a reality, and you know that's why we're not moving also, as because nobody's doing any straight business. Nobody is moving forward.
That's the problem, right? In Malawi, you would have your brains, you'd have the skills, but skills doesn't matter here.
You need to bribe someone, and you know I've been in that situation where like we're trying to get. I mean, like even just digitizing. Like I'll go to I've been to the government entities and all of that. And we, like when I was running my company, I mean, we'll talk about, let's do this for you. Let's do all of this for you. And literally, you just need to, because sooner you put it. So literally, my contract, there was no competition. Nobody else is offering to offer this service. But just win 500, you know? So I mean, yeah, we're all going to make mistakes and error. And maybe these words might come to haunt me someday. But
a question. In your experience of the US, corruption-wise in Malawi?
No. Not that. I mean, again, maybe I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, pay.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't belong to the streets.
Yeah,
you don't know
about Twitter, right?
Facebook community, the WhatsApp community.
When I look at the US, I think of it as the capitalism is really doing what, like when I was running a business, I had an idea. Now I'm like, what the business mind the joint? You know, like it's a well-oiled machine. So people in the US work. Like people work hard. And I mean, I feel so bad as a Black person because Black people and just people of color, South Americans and all of that, they're very concentrated in service jobs. I mean, when I talk of service jobs, I mean Uber drivers, people who deliver food to your apartments, people who are cleaning. Like almost every time it's either a Black person or a South American Spanish person. I have never seen a white man. You know, I've never seen a white person doing those jobs. So we're very concentrated in those spaces, and it breaks my heart so much because it speaks so much to where we stand. But in terms of the capitalism, the white people have the money. The world works and the money is there, you know? So kunjago, people are doing, I think the reality is the typical person, the average person is working hard and making ends meet for themselves. So I don't see much corruption. Like, literally, I don't even think they would know who to bribe. Because I know the city level menu. Level in again,
what about here?
Let's leave it there. We are straight people.
Because you see, you can live today in your house. No license, nothing. Your car is just like that. Just have 100K in your.
You go
to Blantyre.
It's very crazy. Now, this thing I wanted to talk about. We were talking about before we got here.
Privilege thing.
Privilege, yes. Privilege. And then you spoke about Miss Malawi. How many beauty pageants have you been in?
2.
Yes,
I've been in 2 and judged 1. Oh, yeah, judged 1, yeah. 3. I was Miss Chanko 2013.
Oh.
Yeah. The one who won Miss Malawi in my year was also Miss Chanko 2012, I think. Yeah, so Miss Chankos have represented. Yeah, Miss Chanko 2013.
And then
I was first runner-up Miss Malawi. Then I was top 10, 8th runner-up in the World Miss University.
Oh, the one that you went to, Jen, because the one that...
Cambodia.
Rebecca's...
Yes, the one that she won as Miss Africa. She's the current Miss Africa, yes. I was judging that one.
Amazing. How did it feel?
To be in the top 10?
To judge.
Judge. Oh, to judge. Was
Number 10 indeed. Yes.
yeah.
Number 10 is 14.
But even that was great.
Yeah.
But to judge was amazing. They loved me. So they loved me. Like when I went to the pageant the first time. Actually, funny enough, they referred to me, which is interesting. They, even up to now, they call me the future president of Malawi.
Why?
I don't know.
The brains.
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
But from then, they were like, I did, because I'm a really good speaker.
Yeah.
I won the speech competition out of everybody. Like we did a speech competition, a whole competition on the day, and I was awarded as the best speech. So from there, like, okay, even that moment was so beautiful because these people don't understand. They're South Koreans, so they don't understand English.
English, yeah.
So people were translating, and this director, the man, he was there. Because akumpanga translate you know, like amangonvesera antu akubwera akuyankhulazi munguza kuti when I came, he looked up.
Beauty.
No, the gravitas, the actual speaking ability. He looked up and like akumpanga translate kuma he was looking at me. That was the only time of the night that he actually looked up at someone, even though he doesn't understand the thing I'm saying. So from that moment, he just loved me. And up until now, it's Miss Malawi. Like they've invited me twice after that. You know, I'm the only person that's probably been invited twice. So the first time I went, I hosted. I was the MC. The second time I went, I was a judge. If I want to go back, they gave me, now my company rights to run the local pageant. So it was, they loved me, that space. Like, so to judge was a beautiful feeling, to be part of it. And I think I was the first Black judge too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So beautiful, a Black woman. I mean, for you guys, as you put it, in Malawi or maybe in African context, as Black woman, I'm seen as a beautiful woman. If you place me next to South American or white women, even though I'm beautiful, but white women will be chosen over me, you know? So in that kind of spectrum, for example, that pageant, a Black girl has never won. You know, a Black girl has never won. I mean, the other international pageants they have, but that particular one, a Black girl has never won. And we don't even see it happening. So even the kids that were walking that night, they were like, what do we do to win? And I had to be honest. I'm like, nothing. You're not going to win.
Just be yourself.
No, I said, you're not going to win.
You're not going to, like, for real?
Yes. I told them, I'm like, if you're fighting for a crown, you're fighting for Miss Africa and you're fighting for the awards.
Basi.
Yeah, because on the spectrum of the view that they're viewing you through, they're not viewing you as just a beautiful woman. They're viewing you as a Black woman first. Yeah, so there's
criteria
a cap. There's a cap of what you can achieve. Miss Africa is as high as you go, you know, and then you get some other awards here and there. Yeah, so there was, and they were very heartbroken by it, but it's a reality of the world that we live in, and those are the things that we need to fix. So yeah, I mean, now like being in New York is very humbling. Like when I walk around New York, I'm still seen as a beautiful, desirable woman, but by who? Black men first. So Black men adore me. Like I love it. Like I'll be walking around and they'll just be smiling and waving. If I go anywhere, they greet me there, whatever. I don't see that from white men. And I'm not saying I want that, but I'm saying that when they're thinking of beautiful women, I'm not the first thing they're thinking about. They're thinking about white women. I'm like, they have to think twice and say, oh yeah, she's Black. She's cute. Unless they have a fetish for Black women, you know? So that's the world that we live in. So yeah, there's those dynamics. But yeah, so those are the 3 pageants that I've been in. So the last one was my favorite. It was fun. Yeah, and I love that they love me. I can go back anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any year.
Perfect. You were the brand ambassador at DSTV.
Yes, I was.
How was that?
I wish there was more. No, it was so short-lived because I think they were figuring out what they wanted to do. And they were trying to do a digital influencer type of thing. And because with digital influencers, you have to figure out what their brand is. And because it's not my billboards, because my ambassador no got a billboard, but it was about us being online and all of that. So they launched it. It was a good working relationship, but I feel like we didn't just synergize properly. So I would have loved to do a lot more with DSTV, my opinion. I'd have loved to do a lot more with DSTV, but we didn't get to do much. Like I did a few vlogs, I posted a few things on my social media. But there's so much that I can do. So it was like we're figuring that out, and it's like with brands as well, as you might know. My brands in kuna zao, so we were trying to figure that out, and then eventually it just fizzled. So I actually don't know how that ended, but it just kind of
the money.
There wasn't money.
There was just bus.
What was they?
Just the Colgate Smile there for free. Oh, damn it.
That isn't money. That's the thing. You think, yeah, you guys think I have money. No.
You do.
But no, that's part of the media space where you take on the thing because of the next thing that you get.
Yeah.
So for me in my journey, I've taken a lot of free gigs. You know, by just being this DSTV ambassador, I knew that this is going to endorse me and take me to the next level. You know, so even though they're not offering any money, but they put you as they gave me free DSTV. Yeah, I mean, it's more. I was paying for that.
That's so much more.
That's so much more.
Yeah, they gave me.
Cheesy and corny like jiggers.
They gave me the DSTV. They gave me the dish, which they took back.
No.
They came and mounted it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to Ntha Foundation.
Yeah, Ntha Foundation.
Yo, man. I don't know what would you want people to know, because now I'm talking about Ntha Foundation. Yeah, I'm gonna and pasmini yapanga and then they're like, this what these people are all about, you know. So there's Ntha and Kwatu Innovation
Center, Kwatu Innovation and Creative Center.
Yeah. So what's it all about?
It's still okay. When the way I believe about businesses is they become what they want to become. So I have a little bit of a vision, but I think the business is becoming whatever it wants to become. And I think for me, when I was managing director and now as I have managers, it's just to channel it in the whatever you become. What I started as, because it was just a vision around, let's just empower some young people to get into corporate, right? That was my vision. Now that as it crystallizes, it becomes an entrepreneurship training, a digital skills training, a training for musicians, some live showcases and all of that. So those I cannot say, yes, they became my ideas as we went along and it's just seeing what the industry needs, but they went like the vision that we had. The core vision of it, for me, it was my personal thing where I wanted to bridge the two things that I'm passionate about, which I've expressed. I'm a creative and I'm also passionate about the development sector. So I was like, how do we use creativity and innovation for the development sector? So that's what our tagline says, creativity and innovation for development through advocacy. Hi, darling. Wait up. Down. Yeah, sit down. We're lying. I'm doing what you should be doing.
Rescue.
This is my best friend.
Hello, best friend.
Just here to take pictures.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's the board chair of the foundation that you're asking me about.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the tagline says creativity and innovation for development through advocacy, because advocacy is the things like feminism or mental health activism. That's the advocacy. So I was like, how do you use the creativity and innovation to be able to develop? Yes, how do you bridge those two? Which was it was personally for me, let me bridge these two worlds. And then I realized a lot of young people want to do the same. So that's how the foundation came to be. So all the trainings, like even the music one, is about how do you use your music? Not, usually when you do for the music aspect, I'm about my NGO, like the one that she works for. I'm about funding. Nyimbo ya AIDS. And then and nobody even, it's not creative, it's not innovative, so it's like, how do we
people die?
But like, how do we actually get innovative? I think there is this song, I can't remember her name, but it's called Tichichema. It's about gender-based violence. But like that song makes me dance. Like it's actually, because I don't understand the language, it's in Shona. So like before I knew it was about gender-based violence, I was just like, this is the vibe, like I want, like, we should be able to do real heartfelt things, real strong messages, but still make it very entertaining and something of value. So that's what I hope this training will be able to achieve for the artists, to be able to say, there's a lot of development financing. How do you tap into that? And how do you, get into all of that? So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, so for the foundation, literally that's the tagline. So as I told you, the tagline, creativity and innovation for development through advocacy. So that's where the Kwatu Innovation and Creative Center comes in. So the Creative and Innovation Center is the home of that vision. Yeah, so this is the physical place. Literally, it's just the physical place where you come for the training. I was taking pictures today. I cannot believe, when I look at it all the time, I'm just like, I can't believe this belongs to me. Like, it doesn't, it's not, I know it's real, but it's not.
Say, this is nice.
I know, like, I took pictures, I'm like, wow, it's so pretty, wow. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's yours, damn.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So, you say Kwatu is the mitochondria. I would like to use these words because I just learned them for no reason. Yeah. So, Kwatu is the mitochondria at the powerhouse. Yo, okay, so how many people have you employed?
Overtime, over 50.
Over 50.
Yeah, over the duration. Currently they're about 10. Yeah, 10 to 15, 10 maybe full-time, 5 part-time, give or take.
Yeah.
But over the building of the dream, over 50.
Over 50.
Yeah.
Za 1 million jobs mubanga now.
I did momo contributing. Babas.
Okay.
Babas.
Apart from the projects, funding. When you're not running on the funding,
Yeah.
who is financing the organization?
I am.
Full time, full on.
Oh, yeah.
Payroll, mubanga and Ramos Ujogera.
I mean, yeah, eventually, yes. But right now, no. So before I left Malawi, we were making some money. I was monetizing, like getting there. When I left, they lost all my clients. So they were not making money. So even when I'm managing the project, I said, I'm the project, guys. I didn't salon, guys. You know, that was the thing because they lost all my clients. But when I'm there, and even if we don't have project financing, because I do get the clients and we do the work, the websites and everything.
Yeah.
So usually I say I am, but it's the company itself is towards sustainability. Yeah.
Wow.
So we do have the brands that we're building that we hope get to sustainability. I mean, at the end of the day, even though the Music for Malawi brand is about empowering artists, it is supposed to make money. So right now the team is working, running around, getting people to sponsor and all of that. Because we know a lot of creatives and a lot of young people, to be honest. Like when I say drama, like let's be very honest. So even if we come to my artists and say, come training Muzali Vide, you know, we can do it, but it's like, let's pull the money from the outside.
Yeah,
you know?
the
Let's
outside,
pull the money from where it is. And let's invest it in people who actually have the talents and can do the work.
Yeah.
So our monetization model is not let's make money from Malawians, because my belief is Malawians do not have that money.
Yeah.
So how do we get resources from the development world into Malawi for the creatives, for the young entrepreneurs, for the musicians, for the people that want digital skills and whatever programs, anything that my team creates after this is them. Like I'm not creating anything. But yeah, so my monetization model is how do we get financing from outside into this? So basically, even when we create products, how do we create products that we can export?
Yeah.
Because as I say, like the way we put it here on my, like when I think of my career, the job that I have now, when we level it, right? The job that I had in Malawi and the job that I have in the US might be equivalent, you know? But the money that I made here and the money that I make in the US are totally different.
Yeah.
But it's the exact same job, but just different economies. So I'm like, how do we, and that's my vision for us. Like, how can we create things that can compete at a global level, which is why we have Forex issues right now. So we have the Forex issues because everything we create, you know, we're not exporting anything. And I'm like, how do we export our innovation and creativity? That's what I want. I'm like, because I think our greatest is, I've been around creatives and innovators. Malawians are very creative. I mean, what you're doing with this space, like just with the little, like people have so much more than what you have, but the incredible things that you guys are able to do with the little that we have. And that's the Malawian thing. So I'm like, how do we do more of that? How do we give more to Malawians? Like just do more and let's export that talent. So I mean, yeah, there's other aspects where the government has to try around agriculture and all the other aspects. For me, my passion is really the innovation and creativity. How do we empower that and then export it? When people see our music out there, they should be like, wow, we love Malawian music. I want to invest back in this artist, you know? So that's for me, that's my business model. Yeah.
So like, so far, Ntha Foundation, Kwatu Creatives, the things that you look at and say, hey, these are major milestones.
Yeah.
What are they?
Oh, milestones. Launching Bands to Business was one. Bands to Business is one of the platforms that we have. It's a conversation platform. I love that platform, and I think it's going to be the next big thing, not just in Malawi, globally. I really believe in it. When I launched it, I host a lot of, I've always wanted to have a talk show. Like I've always wanted to be an Oprah. So it's,
Oprah from Mangoji.
Yeah, so I've always had that vision. And for me, like I started hosting these panel sessions and people would engage me, my NGO, pay me some good monies from there and this and that. And I felt that once I go into those conversations, I'm limited because I'm Manduza, you know, like the freedom you have here where you can talk about anything and everything. Because you know, I created bands. Yeah, so I wanted to create a conversation for people who want to have real conversations, you know, like let's just, as the name bands, banter to business, like let's have And the thing about it is, I think when I look at shows in the world, it's either too much banter. No offense to you guys, but you guys combine it. You guys are bands to business. You guys are bands to business.
You want that too?
Yeah, but even this, like, this is close to bands to business because we're having the banter, but also the business aspect. So it's everything. So that's the spirit of bands to be. You should host. You should facilitate the next B2B. Okay.
Thank you.
Soon.
I got a gig, people.
Soon. Yeah.
I got a gig.
So this is what the heart of it is supposed to be. Like, there's a lot of young people that want to have conversations. It's either you have the completely comedic side where you are completely off script.
What the hell are you doing?
And then there's the other aspect where you just have to be very serious business. Lukamba is my question in that. I was like, let's find a middle, which is which guys are doing great. So I'm like, let's find a middle. So Bands to Business was that platform for me. When I started it, I was the first host. And initially it was supposed to be my show, but I was like, no, let's make it the people's show. So we now rotate hosts and different people facilitate and people would have different conversations. Yeah. So that was not a money milestone, but for a product that I really believed in and people have autonomy. Like, I give them like some leading questions, but I'm like, you have freedom. Go off script. Do what you want. Like there's no right or wrong. You offend some people, do it. That's it should be. Yes.
Do a bully.
Offend them. My feelings are kind of hurt. So yeah, that was that. Obviously, winning our first grant was a huge milestone. I could not, like, when somebody says $250,000. I mean, now I look back, I'm like, we can do more. But then I was like, I remember I went to my ex and I'm like, it's $250,000. I'm like,
What ex are they?
Nzanga. The only pin then. Hi, dear.
The ex wajitairo. And darling even.
But yeah, even if I went back home and I remember telling him, I'm like, this is a lot of money. Like, for me, I was like, okay, $5,000. Then somebody's like, $250,000. And I'm like, $250,000, what do we do with it? And I remember, because I didn't even know how to manage that amount of money, So it's like, how do we do it? And I was guided and I was mentored. And I mean, so many different people like, okay, this is what you do. Or you're building, you set up a hub. Yeah. This is how you do it and all of that. So that was a huge milestone for sure. That was a huge one. Like, I mean, and now I look at it, it's become real. It's like, $250,000. Okay. Yeah. And I've managed it. So I know what it means. And I mean, from a privilege standpoint, I'm like, it's not that much money because I've managed it. Yeah. To anybody, I mean, even to you, you're probably thinking, are you serious? Are you saying that much money? Because to anybody else in the world, they're like,
this one?
Even 10,000 is not 20%. But having managed that amount of money, that's when I'm like, I need us to really get serious about this country because it really is not that much money. Even I mean, now there's this going on Twitter. I mean, in the world, but like the people who were in the submarine and they had to pay $250,000, and people are like, oh, it's not that much to them and all that. And to be honest, like, it is not that much. When you hoard it, when you have it, when you're managing it, it is not that much money, Komano, we are at one of the poorest countries in the world to a point, this is our reality. So when I got that money, I literally could not even think of it. I was like, how do I manage this money? And I was so young, I was 25. Yeah, but we did it. So that was a huge milestone. Yeah, I was very happy about it.
Actually, I get your point, because even when we asked Tabitha, one of your biggest games that you played, game mana chula,
okay, nice.
Game with small So yeah, it makes sense because
exactly. Like, if somebody gives me $250,000, I'll be like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, but at that time it's like, wow. Whoa. Yeah.
And being your first project as well.
Yeah, project. We just literally established a foundation. Even now when other people, they're like, oh, give us your audit finances. And they're like, you went from 0 to 250, how?
But whenever.
How? And you're like, no, it's... And then they have to audit us proper and check everything. And eventually they realize that, because that was huge luck. Yeah. So yeah.
True. That's something. Yeah. That is something. But no, I
want young Malawans to be able to say that. It's a privilege, but I want Malawans to have that kind of privilege. And if I can help it, if any of us can help it, it should get to that level where my entrepreneurs, as it pays $50,000 and invest in their business. Because running a business is very expensive. You have to go like that $50,000. $50 million, kungoichula figure imaoneka
Namveka ina yake.
Kama when you're running a business ase kumabona ati makosti tokuti I mean makosti makata 1 million eti timakosti 1 million tikungodutsa because like ndrama jadabangana yani guys you know you can't even point at it. So to build if you are going to get to a part where we're like Malawi must have businesses, we need people to start thinking those are small amounts of money. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. Yeah, we're coming from very
over
far.
my figures. They made Brandon. 500,000 in 600,000. Musankabo ya.
Kuiona millions. Kumaso kwa Germany afika bano 500,000 guys. Million tingai basole mugali panopo. We have to be honest.
Fasa Ntanda. Ntanda inayonwa kuza kwambiri pa social media. Ntanda pa social media ndo sokoneza. Ndo zunguza kwambiri. Khane mema pweleka mema tokosa ntima.
That's good.
Relationships and marriage.
Okay.
You have a very weird view.
How?
Eish.
How?
I remember this like
what did I say?
Uma nena zinto. Wasn't really directly saying that, but then it's like, you know what? If you want to do it, just do it and leave. You know what I mean?
But it's the truth.
It's not, bro. Come on.
I see you. It's very touched.
Yeah, bro. Because in that moment, I was loving a person. Like, I love you. Like somebody that grew up in a very organized family, loving family. And, you know, how do you come with those?
Don't you get inspired?
Hey.
Don't I get inspired?
Hey.
My mother is not here, so I shouldn't speak much. No, but no. I hope to be married. Actually, surprise. I hope to be married. The thing about it is, I think as people, but also mostly as women, we center getting married too much as a goal. You know, as women, I don't know. As men, I don't think so. You know, as men, you do. It's not. It's if it happens, yes. But if it doesn't, so but as a woman, it's like I'm pushing 30, I'm 27. But like now, it's like most women will be like, "Hey, now it's running out. I need to find a husband. I need to find a husband." You know, and most men don't view life in that way. You know, my mom got married at 27. She also lived her life and had fun and everything. And my parents were best of friends to her death. Like they could not live. My mother, you know, without my father being there. But the one thing about my parents is they both lived their lives individually and they lived together. Mavina, my mama, Wambiri, you know, they would dance and live. So they never lost their identity from being in a relationship. You know, my mother had her career. Like nothing about them as individuals stopped because they loved someone. And I really find it so unfortunate when and I mean, I was dating somebody recently and he was like, I thought of my wife just being a housewife. And I said, hey, is this in them?
Like that guy, did you see who you want? I'm like, content.
Don't
that guy.
And I said, this one is not me. So, but and most people, because this was a guy who had money and everything, and most people would go and say, you know what, but it's business and this and all of that. Yeah. For me, like I take so much pride in that I'm still able to continue living my life. I'm still able to continue having my fun. Yeah. And I would hope if I'm lucky enough, you know, to meet someone who tizimvana chichewa, first of all, not chichewa, but you know, tizimvana ngani.
I can Spanish. You know,
we continue to excel, you know. Yeah. I mean, some other people, like for example, you have a female producer here. Other people would be like, no, sunga you know, like that. True. You know, the fact that you're able to get in a space and you're able to just do your work and come home and love your partner just fully, you know. And that's a privilege that in my past relationships I've had. So when I say, Guti, continue living your life while also loving, you don't have to stop loving the person, but also love them fully and, you know, be there. And I mean, like even Bena knows, I'm a hopeless romantic. No. When I love, and I'm there fully present, but I don't ever lose myself. I hope I don't. You know, I still have my business. Yeah. I don't want somebody actually do as in pinga as many also because I'm like, tipangane trust. Let's love each other, and if anything, let's support each other to be the best of ourselves. Yeah. So for me, I'm a huge advocate of living. I mean, my best friends make fun of it all the time because today I'll be like, hey, I really love this guy. Next thing I'll be like, hey, sorry. Who?
Wait. I know personally yet. Off of your tweets. Yeah. I'm on to promote promiscuity.
Promiscuity? How?
You just sleep with people. How? Don't get attached. And
I don't even tweet about sex. No, do I?
No, not directly.
Yeah. But I'm like, but let's be honest. Men live that way.
But is it? No. Because they leave it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, but it's not about right or wrong. I think everybody should make
No. Wait, you on a different note is that you are you're more of a role model.
Of course.
The kids, somebody who is 15, even if it's you, maybe if you are maybe promiscuous, you're safe, you use condoms, whatever. There's a 15-year-old so sure they don't know the dynamics.
But that's why I'm like, I don't even advocate for love, but never sex. Do I? I mean, no, I think sex is
not directly.
Yeah, but dating freely. But I think that's why we need to have a proper conversation because men do have the safe conversations. I mean, let's talk about it. Like, for example, for me at the moment, I'm celibate. I'm not having sex, for example. That's my reality. I don't think it's something I'll tweet about, actually. It's my personal choice, right? Yeah. And I think people should be able to have those choices. And as young women, it's unfair to say we're going to tell young women to not have those choices because they're not being safe, because men are taught to be safe. So if the worry is about safety, let's take the conversation to both genders and say, as men, yes, you might date, but be safe. As women, yes, you might date, but be safe. In an ideal world, for me, I think it would be so good to just meet a partner, and settle down. But that's not the reality of the world that we live in. Yeah. I mean, I speak from like just seeing young women now. They are trying so hard to be wife material for this guy, and that guy is just out there cheating. So even in this scenario where you're keeping yourself so safe, you end up with STIs. Even you were being so pure. So I think the conversation around safety, especially, and care. Like, we need to be positive about how we talk about love and sex. I'm a huge advocate for living relationships that are not serving you. Like, for example, I said my ex was cheating on me and I left. I literally had reason to leave, Most people are like, yes, when you're putting these women at risk. So for me, men leave. A man on average will do what is best for him. You cheat on a man, he'll be like, hey, sorry, and he will forget you immediately, But for women, they will be, he has cheated. And all of that. So I think the conversation around that needs to change. We need to give women that autonomy. And I'm an advocate for leaving because I'm like, if it's not good for you, leave it. Obviously, it doesn't mean like, try to make it work. But at the end of the day, leaving should always be an option. I say it should always be an option because for men, it's always an option. It's always.
For men, it's not an option. Another two guys. We have three.
Even if you speculate, just speculation. If you get the win, that there's a.
Hey, but we know where I am. Mango can't do bus. Leave quickly too. Come as Mike, come out in the campus. Come panga text. Come do mamudziwa waku. Are you sure? Then to me tunes. Unama. There's that. There's a whole culture around it, and I mean, in an ideal situation, I'd have been married by now. Let's be honest, but I haven't been lucky. And a lot of people are not lucky to meet somebody on both genders, It takes time.
It's out of your choice not to get married. Sometimes I feel like...
But it's out of choice, eh?
Yeah, it's out of choice. Look, she has a choice, but she doesn't want to get married.
I will get married.
When?
And I want to have the wedding.
No, you don't have to be pressured to get married.
Of course, no, I'm not. And I mean, I grew up in a family where I was not pressured. Like, my parents left me to say, choose what you want. Yeah. And I think having grown up in a family where both parents were married, they were honest with me to say, you have seen what it means to be married. It's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy. You have to go through the highs and the lows with someone. You have the bad days and the good days. And my parents, especially my mother, was very honest with me about that, You have the good days and the bad days. When you're walking into marriage, know that it's going to be that. There's going to be times when my parents had a time when they were broke. There's going to be times when you have money. And it's going to be hard and whatever. So, like, you need to walk into it knowingly. So, for me, that's why I also get to choose to say, red flag, orange, So, yeah, but I'm also privileged to have that choice. A lot of women, I mean, people DM me by Facebook, Mami, I'm going to 50,000 yambe business in that sea. I get that a lot. More surprising than you'd think. Like, they're like, I look up to you and I see the way you're living your life. And that freedom, as you put it, there are a lot of people who are influenced by it in different ways. I am not anti-love. I love being in love. God knows I do. But I don't think that love should harm you, you know? So if that love is harming you, then you should have the autonomy to live.
Preach!
This section only has to go out.
I am an hour later. So my last question, I hate you for doing what you did.
What did I do?
I hate you for doing what you did.
I did it.
So I did it. I'll rephrase it.
Okay, I hear.
So people will be like, no, it wasn't that.
It
wasn't that. My last question is, you're always saying, good, I say, Manhattan this, Manhattan that,
Manhattan
apartment.
yeah,
Mabanda now, what's hey, why would
MacBook.
most of these things are expensive.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Yeah. As Malawians, we don't want to see people doing good. 1, 2. But I'm happy to be like your audience is very broad. Right? But they don't have so much. But anagula, you know, upbringing I go banga yoncho. Kala banga matama.
Of course, chub.
Yambiri.
Yeah.
So, but they hate you not because not because they are wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's really coming from a genuine place.
Yeah.
You know? But then again, I'm a dana ifori, I'm a uzio, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, how do you filter your content in that sense? Knowing good in China, get mockery to poverty.
Let me answer it for you. Come on, you don't have to live your life defending our poverty.
Amen.
Come on.
Amen. No, but also, but I mean, we come from a very poor country, and for me, even with my foundation, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Running a non-profit, it's very easy to fall into the trap of let me show you mwana wa Malawi ni chenche pampono.
Yeah.
You know, the poverty narrative.
Yeah.
My brand is showing a Malawi that is successful. You know, a Malawi that can do it.
Yeah.
That's my brand. So I'm like, let's show that Malawians can have all the Apple devices. Let's show that I can live in Manhattan and live a very good life. Yeah. Because we need to know that we can do it. That's why I share my life. It's not coming from a place of, oh, look at me doing my thing. I mean, no, I'm very proud of it. I'm also, even for me, I'm very impressed. I'm like, wow, I'm in Manhattan. I'm even when I buy the things, I'm like, I can buy them for myself. So it's from that place where I'm very heavily impressed with that I could do it for myself. Yeah. But also, I want other young people to know that that's... Because sometimes when I look down upon ourselves, when I come from Malawi, that is not even a possibility for me. Even for something like... I mean, before I started my business, I always share the story. I had a busted laptop. Vae or something. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sony.
Yeah, Sony. It was a second-hand. That was the computer I was using for editing, starting my business. When I received some funding... We've bought some MacBooks. Like my hub has over 50 computers now. We have almost 4 iMacs, almost 6 MacBooks. I'm very proud to have that because that was not even a possibility at the time. So when I'm living in this reality, I'm like, I'm able to walk into a Mac store, an Apple store, and just pick up a laptop. That I'm very proud of it. And I want another black child to look at that and say, I can do it too.
Yes.
It's possible, you know? Like we need to expand our possibility. So when other people are getting off, I know they're coming from a place of or they don't even feel that they can. Yeah. So it's like good, and that done. But again, I say if you hang around Nigerians, they're walking chubu. Yeah. They're literally walking chubu.
Because most of the countries, people
everywhere
are free to talk about their worth.
Yeah.
Not in Malawi.
Yeah. In Malawi, ukala was and that's the thing. The humility is conflated as that if you talk about your wealth and you're not I'm speaking even for myself. I'm one of the most humble people and easygoing people you will meet. And anybody who has actually crossed paths with me. When I've been back in Malawi, I have had people welcoming me. I do not have an ego to myself. Yeah. But we also need to get comfortable in it's not attaching your wealth. Like I do not attach my wealth to having an iPhone. Yeah. You know, it's not an identifier of who I am. I am a whole person beyond that. So I think the problem is we attach ourselves Z4, the personality Z4. You know, but when Z4 is just something that you have, you know. And actually I've had times when I've actually had to speak to people. And I'm like, don't view me through the lens of that I'm a black woman or that I'm a woman or I'm young. Yeah. I'm a person that's capable. That deserves to be in this space and you're going to respect me as such. If all of us moved with that, you know, comfy, and if we're not the first Kudigupanga push down, we would have a very different Malawi, to be honest, you know. Like, umaona kuti manga nyumba, and they post about it, and we just celebrate that and get inspired. Mundu oneselanji, jitani feo. Then matuzilanji. It's not about you.
It's not about you, bro. Come
Yeah.
on. Suffer in silence. Okay, as Ntanda, it's been amazing having you here.
It's been amazing.
Like, it's exceeded my expectation. I've always seen you online.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to meet you. Like, I've a lot of female friends that look up to you. I'll give you your name, Kimmy. Yeah, Karen. She loves your work.
Kimmy who?
Karen Lombe.
I know Karen Lombe.
Yeah.
Kimmy who? Oh, it's the same
Kimmy,
Karen?
yeah, that's
her
same
name.
person.
Okay,
I
I know
call her
her,
Kimmy. Yeah. So she loves you. She loves your work. I believe she watched this and she will enjoy it.
Yeah.
And many other people. So I remember one of my exes didn't like you because I was like, hey, Ntha this and Ntha that. You know, like, fuck that shit.
Actually, there's a lot of women who hate me because their boyfriends like, and I'm like, I'm just because their boyfriend likes me and suddenly they dislike me.
Yeah, if someone sees, I think their man looking at your picture somewhere.
And I don't know, so that I'm not allowed to like your pictures anymore. I'm like, why, guys? It's not like I would date your man.
It's one of those. But I follow you on Twitter. Follow back.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Hey, threats. One followers have gone down. I'll get your handle. And also for Twitter, like on social media, I'm very interactive. So when people engage with me, I usually follow back.
Yeah,
if I don't follow you back, it means usually when I see people in mentions, like after 3-4 times, I start to say, oh, because you just don't talk to strangers.
True.
So once, 2-3 times, I'm like, oh, Radziwana, you know.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you just follow everybody, then it becomes a
Yeah, I hear you. But it's been beautiful. Thank you for making time.
Absolutely.
One quick question for me, right? Yeah. What's the big dream for you? What do you want to do? What do you want to? Are you moving? US resident, like.
Yeah.
What do you want? You want to build things internationally. What is it?
Yeah. What's a dream for me? I mean, first thing is to take the Ntha Foundation global, whether that's by my personal effort or the organization and everybody. Yeah, so to take the foundation global, like I said, we want to mobilize funds into Malawi. So that's the big dream right now. On a personal level, I want to be as big as Oprah. I want to be the Oprah of digital media. I don't know what that looks like because we're no longer in television. So yeah, that's the big. Yeah. You have it on record.
I have it on record.
So yeah, that's my dream and ambition at the moment, to be as big as that. Yeah. So by what we've experienced so far, I think it's achievable. I don't know how, but yeah.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yeah. Oh, Malawi. I didn't dream of going to the US.
Are you out?
I didn't dream of going to the US. I just happened to be there, placed there because of my job. I like the US. When I think of economically, like it doesn't make sense for me to come back here. Like the same thing I told you, what I was earning at the same job level and what I'm earning out there is different. So I would love to be in a space where I'm able to earn what my worth is. I know I'm not an advocate for leaving, but I think if we had a lot more Malawians earning those kind of money and investing back in Malawi could move. So I don't know what the future holds in that aspect. If I stay employed, if I establish my business and I go back to business, the future is going to tell. But I'm optimistic about it.
Oh, she has a coquette smile. What's your secret?
I have a very what's my secret? My mother gave me the perfect one. My mother and my father. That one. I don't take credit.
I don't take credit.
Like my sister and my brother. All of us. You should see my brother smile.
The perfect. All right, cool. All right. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's hit it up.
Yeah, it's hot.
But yeah.
I don't know my juice.
Kuzizira kunoko. Kumalawi kunoko.
Okay,
kunoko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Bands for business. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, please. You have to host.
All right. Mwiza, do you have anything to ask the beautiful Ntha, the intelligent Ntha, the Twitter Ntha? There's a bunch of characters. Yeah. No? Okay. Kellyanne?
No.
Anything?
I'm good.
Nothing? Okay.
Come on.
All right. Okay. So don't be shy. Like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, questions, suggestions. We are Podcast Malawi and we are out. I like the outro.